Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 113 of the Avocado Games Cast, the Avocado's gaming podcast. I'm Merve, and we've got a very packed show for you today. For starters, we have a record 6 contributors around the mics today. That's up from 2 from our last episode, so we're just like, it's feast or famine in our Discord era. It's also our annual look at summer gaming shows, which means we have a lot to talk about. When we started this podcast back in 2016, actually, our first episode was about E3, and all these summer gaming shows were under the umbrella of E3. But now times have changed. E3 is now defunct, and most of these shows are partnered with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, also known as SGF or Key 3. Uh, this year also brought with it its fair share of challenges, and challenges is a pretty euphemistic term that couldn't be ignored. E3 and SGF have, for most of their existence, taken place in Los Angeles, although I believe E3 for a year or two went over to Las Vegas, if I remember correctly. We can correct that in the link dump.
It feels
but for the most
accurate.
part, that's accurate. There, fact check in real time. But for the most part,
No. I said it feels accurate. Sorry.
it feels accurate. Okay. Um, we'll confirm that for the link dump. E3 and SGF have, for most of their existence, taken place in Los Angeles. And for the most part, they've been able to portray themselves as kind of this um, gaming microcosm that's separate from everything else that's going on around them. And that just wasn't the case this year. Um, there are events taking place just blocks away from SGF that cast a pall over the conference and made it abundantly clear that while video games are a wonderful source of escapism, they can't really be divorced from the real world. But we're going to cover that more in depth in just a little bit. For now, let me introduce the other voices you'll hear today. She won't rest until she's unlocked the Arrow Daisy outfit. It's Quinley Thorne.
Got it Friday night. You got to pick up the donut lunch.
There you go. He spent months passing the buck for our enjoyment. It's Wolfman Jew.
Hello, folks. Happy to be back.
Hey.
She's juggling Joy-Cons with one hand and crushing nunchucks with the other. It's lovely. It's Lily Bones.
Thank you for that. Hi, everyone. Yes, it's 24/7 Nintendo Circus here.
Hell yeah.
There we go. And choo choo, they're all aboard the monster train. It's Bloomed Wings.
Hi. I did. I put down a run of playing as Melting Remnant and the Lazarus League to do this. So, I'm gonna be thinking of strats all the while.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And finally, he's fully in his French era, parrying every attack that comes his way. Oui, oui, c'est le Kappa!
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, Souls games. Oh boy. Feel the parry.
Hon.
Am I the only person around this virtual table who can speak French?
Oh,
Parle peu de français.
I that's right. Blue Wings, parle un peu français. C'est vrai. I forgot all about that.
J'ai étudié le français pendant 5 ans en lycée.
En lycée? Oh, c'est magnifique.
Hablo español.
Yeah, español. That's awesome.
I have a very, very French family name, but my mom told me that Spanish would be more useful.
It is.
Yeah, see, not where I live.
Especially if you live in Texas.
I actually have to use French at work. I can't get away from knowing French. So yeah. So I've been looking at the E3 like Wikipedia article. Something about going to Santa Monica. Oh, it wasn't Las Vegas. It was Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta?
Atlanta.
That must have happened in the 2000s.
That was 97 and 98 at the Georgia World Congress Center. There you go. Correction in real time.
Well,
Wasn't
I guess
Las Vegas.
by that point it was mostly a trade show and not whatever E3 became.
Yeah.
It was a trade show where teenagers could get in if they had the right credentials.
I mean, Atlanta's for like professional conventions. Atlanta's a really good city for that.
Yeah, I've been to a convention in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I had barbecue. It was good.
You had barbecue in Atlanta? You know what?
Am I
No,
not supposed
no,
to
we're not. We're not. No, we're not. You know,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
going to get into that.
Oh,
Let's
you,
just.
are
Let's
you
just.
are
Let's
you
just
gonna
get a
do the
moment.
whole like different states from the south fighting each other over which barbecue is the real barbecue thing?
Be
Yeah,
careful here. You're trying
No,
to.
don't, just
Oh, like
don't,
are we gonna do
don't,
North Carolina versus
don't.
Texas throwdown? Let's do it.
Wait,
Okay,
who's in
but
North Carolina? Who's in North Carolina?
I am. If it ain't
Mm,
vinegar, I don't
mm,
want it.
okay, now
That's a
okay,
shame. That's a shame.
okay,
That's a
hang
shame.
on. Like this tournament is already over because South Carolina is in the mix, and like
South Carolina is in the chat.
Yeah,
I actually haven't had North Carolina barbecue, so I can't say what I've had Texas, obviously. I've had Oklahoma. I've had Memphis, which is it's sweet. It's fine. I like it. I like it. Okay, but you know,
Abstains courteously.
I think the only one I ever really liked is whenever it's like Alabama white, and I'm like, I don't. This isn't barbecue to me.
it would be white in Alabama.
Yeah.
womp womp. I mean, the places I've lived in the States are New York and California, specifically
Oh.
Los Angeles, which we're going to get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
Places not exactly known for their barbecue. If you say you want to eat barbecue in New York, you're heading to Dinosaur Barbecue, and that place sucks. So, like...
I've never been.
Keep it that way. It's
Okay.
It's so bad. I know I'm gonna get like New Yorkers some tweeting me being like, Dinosaur Barbecue is actually really good. What are you gonna do next? Hate on our pizza? Yes, I am gonna hate on your pizza. It's overrated. I could say that. I lived in New York City for 8 years. I can
No,
trash
but
New York City pizza.
I mean, and the Pope is from Chicago. Deep dish is God's pizza.
Yeah,
Well,
but
okay,
I mean,
deep dish, fully better than New York style pizza. I will die on this hill.
yes,
I think
like-
I gotta go with that. Yeah, I think I'd go with that.
but then especially we have to note Detroit version better than Chicago version. So
I've never had Detroit.
oh, it's good.
It's like a sweeter crust. They kind of like fry
yeah,
it
it's
up
like
a little more.
Ooh.
yep, thicker crust. It's in a rectangle pan too.
I will say
I
the
like
best pizza. I will say the best pizza I've ever had that completely ruined any and all pizza for me since I've had it was in Whippany, New Jersey. It was, oh my god, it was so good. Just every pizza I have is a disappointment after that. It's genuinely upsetting.
That's the secret, and Wolfman will confirm this. New Jersey pizza is better than New York pizza.
Yes. I gotta tell you, Quinley, I literally just like humped my fist. Yes. Jersey pizza.
Whippany, Persephone, New Jersey. I cannot remember the name of the place, but like if I ever go visit, because we were just there on a road trip, so like if I ever end up in Maryland, like my cousin is always texting me, he's like, "Hey, you want to drive to New Jersey and get that pizza again?" I'm like, "It's 3 in the morning. Come on, man."
Like a Double Fine character.
Oh man, American cities, man. American city names. There's a place here in Texas called Cut and Shoot.
I like how Michaela walk in and we're not talking about video games.
Yeah, fair.
It says
Whatever.
banter on the agenda.
Banter. Yeah.
It says banter in square brackets. Which
Banter.
can mean anything. Like, you can put anything in square brackets. It's great. Speaking of things that weren't in square brackets, I know, fantastic segue. The first like big showcase of that was affiliated with SGF was the PlayStation State of Play. I mean, there are others. I think the Unreal Showcase was affiliated with SGF. I can't remember.
Yes.
But
Yes,
there
and that was
a montage of it in the middle of SGF,
Yeah.
which was
because
annoying.
that one was actually on a stage. The Unreal one was on a stage actually as well. I don't know if it was at the actual like the same venue that like the next day they would do Keely's show, but I know from watching it live that it was having like very weird live reactions is what I'll say.
wait, did Sweeney actually like get up on stage? I didn't watch it.
Yes. Yeah.
No, they made a big show of it.
Oh,
And that man has
Tim
zero
Epic.
riz.
He was there.
That man has zero riz for one thing, and for
Zero.
another
riz.
thing, it was after this very bad generative AI demonstration thing.
Oh no.
Good.
Yeah.
Another one.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No.
the only good part of it.
It's
Well, it's not
very
like Tim Epic was the chosen one, right? You kind of expect him to pull this bullshit. And
it was
Oh,
very
it was-
funny how they really set themselves up for the obvious joke of like having this whole like it was a whole thing where they had a supposedly a smart program, like a GLaDOS-esque program, was trying to convince a guy playing a game on stage to push a button on
What?
in game. Yes, it
Sounds
was
like
trying to convince him. The way of this doing stuff would be he would say like, if I push the button, is something bad gonna happen? And then there would be like a 2-second pause, and then this voice would go, nothing bad is going to happen if you push the button. We like
Motherfucker, just
here.
get a Twitch channel. A Twitch channel will do
Exactly.
that
Like,
shit
this is the
for
thing.
you.
Was
And then they were like, all right, we're gonna push the button now, and they pushed it, and it was like, I hope nothing bad happens to the audience. And then Tim Sweeney's on stage.
was
Something
this the
bad.
one? Sorry, is this the one where Sweeney was like, in a decade, you'll only need 10 people to make the next Breath of the Wild, and the rest can be done with AI? And it's like, dude,
Actually,
How
I don't know
many
if he said
people-
that on stage or if that was just in an
Yeah.
interview. Because
yeah.
I cut in and out of watching the Unreal one because it was so like it just made me feel sad. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
even, it was
It-
sort of
I watch
depressing.
all of these, but watch often amounts to I am playing Switch 2 while the video is playing.
Yeah,
Always
Yeah, I was taking some notes, but that's the best way to play, or the best way to watch these.
Oh
I
my
took
god.
some notes for the PlayStation State of Play, but they're not like super detailed. So I've been relying on looking at coverage at like Games Radar and IGN to kind of get the full picture of what was discussed. There's a pretty nice
Mm.
live blog from Games Radar that I shared with y'all.
Yeah, they
Um,
Games Radar really kind of stepped up their coverage this year. I actually kind of went to them
Yeah.
for a lot of
Shout
different
out
like
to Roland Bishop,
recaps.
which is probably the greatest name in greatest single name in games coverage. Imagine if your name were Roland Bishop. That freaking rules.
That is a
Um,
name for someone from Crisis, or really any.
Oh yeah, that's an
Mid to-
FPS pro tag name.
Oh yeah.
Roland Bishop is like
Bish.
within the annals of Bald White Men or Nathan Drake ripoffs.
Mhm.
Like,
I mean, he is a bald white man.
Bald white men catching strays out here. God.
I'm a bald brown man. I feel a little bit of kinship with my fellow white baldies. And I do feel a little bit of a kinship with Roland Bishop because he's also got the glasses and the scruff. So yeah, his live blog has mentioned a whole bunch of highlights from the showcase. But what's notable is we'll talk about what we actually saw. But what's notable is one big absence, which was Marathon.
Yeah.
Did not
Yes.
show up there, despite at the
Nope.
time of the showcase ostensibly being out September 30th. It has since been delayed indefinitely. In the fall, they'll tell us when they actually plan to put this thing out, if at all.
Well, I knew that prediction.
Your
Mm.
predictions is getting canceled. It's getting canned.
But my prediction from January for this show.
Oh
Was that
yeah.
Marathon would get
It
delayed.
was specifically Marathon and GTA 6. Right on schedule, baby.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, you won
Knowledge.
this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
I think I think I'm probably going to lose, but I did win Digimon, which we'll get to in a second.
Yes.
We sure will.
Yeah, Marathon not showing
Awesome.
up is a big deal. And they've
Yeah.
since announced that they're retooling parts of it, particularly the survival elements, the tone of the story. I don't know that was something people were really protesting too much against.
maybe
what-
this is just, we're changing everything. We're gonna tell you we're changing everything.
They're
I mean-
sure hiring like they are.
Yeah,
I mean,
I put
it really strikes me as like the real issue is the whole concept art theft being in there, and like how
oh my
deep
god, yeah.
how deep like some of their aesthetic might have been from
Yeah.
that, and so they probably have to redo a whole ton of assets, might even have to overhaul the whole art style, but they're not going to put out a notice that says like,
We stole
sorry, we-
everything from this
Yeah, we
portfolio
stole
whole
everything.
sale.
yeah, they're just
The
going to say,
only thing you care about this game is its visual identity. Well, say goodbye to that.
Yeah. So
That
we'll be
sucks because that was the only part of this that I liked.
There were
and-
gameplay tests that didn't go very well, also. So I'm sure they'll be tweaking there. But that's so far out.
Like,
of
you'd
my-
almost hope for the reaction to be negative, because the reaction was just lukewarm, like, it's okay, I guess. And that's kind of the death knell. There's no enthusiasm over any part of this. And so, yeah, maybe they'll rework it into something workable. I don't know.
I just want to mention that if they're getting rid of all the art, there is a decent chance that some of the new art will also be plagiarized. Because
They
just
are fans of-
because
Yeah.
I mean, this has been an issue, a strangely recurring issue for Bungie.
Well, the same artists.
Are they? Yeah, from twice. They did this twice to the same artist. I cannot get over that. But I put in the chat thing. Bungie is hiring for a lot of lead roles on the marathon project. Only one of them being art. Apparently, from what I understand about the cheating scandal, and y'all can check me on this. Isn't it all of the art higher ups in that division? They all followed this artist as well.
For 8 years.
Yeah, and the art
Oh my
position they're
God.
hiring for is not for the game itself. It's for
Mm.
events and commerce, like marketing art.
Mm.
Technically,
Yeah.
that could be useful for this situation, but I don't know if it's.
Yeah, just draw completely new assets for marketing, but keep the game entirely intact.
Yeah.
They might try to pull something like that. You don't know.
Plagiarism, I didn't think this was going to be a Concord level disaster. I was like, IP name will carry it a little farther, you know? No, no, this
There
thing
is There's a decent chance that this does become a Concord level disaster, and it'll be from the same company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
sure.
it's strange that I mean, Sony's
Mm.
live service pivot, I think we can say at this point, has been, aside from Helldivers 2, an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah,
just
catastrophic.
they're all really grateful for Jim Ryan's decision making.
It's
And in the case of Sony in particular, potentially these having two of these back to back is brand damaging, and that's something they do not, at least the execs in Japan, do not countenance that shit. I don't know how they could proceed with the rest of these with any of these live service projects at this point.
that's why
Two
some of them
back
have
to
gotten
back.
canceled.
I-
Oh, Fair
I don't
Games is
know
gonna be
how-
on the chopping block. That thing ain't ever coming out.
Fair Games is doomed.
Yeah.
My point was on their more normal Sony end of your games like Ghost of Yotei. It doesn't feel like Ghost of Yotei right now, at least. The momentum for it does not feel big enough to compensate for multiple huge PR disasters and financial.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of Ghost of Yotei and Sony's still surviving single player efforts, Ghost of Yotei looks cool. I like what they've showed off. It looks like Ghost of Tsushima, but starring Erika Ishii, which is exactly what I want. I don't own a PS5 right now,
Yeah.
so
The extra.
I'm probably not going to play
mantle-
it for another couple of years, but looks cool. Glad they're making it.
No, I'm
Yeah.
quite interested in Yotei, but yeah, I mean it's one game.
No.
You can't survive till intergalactic, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
Yeah,
to do a lot more here.
The other highlights for me were more multi-plat games. I think Pragmata looks interesting. Maybe I'm easily amused or impressed. I thought it looked cool. I want to run around a spaceship with.
I've got that one
uh,
under weirded out by, and then I have.
It somehow looks less interesting to me now that I've seen I remember the teasers and stuff looking way more interesting than this. I'll still keep an eye on it, but I was just oh, this is just another kind of
Another one
Dead
of these.
space-ish. Yeah, it's another one of these. It's I mean, the acting is fine, the visuals look fine, but it doesn't and for a new IP, especially from a company like Capcom, when a new IP gets introduced, you kind of expect that they're going to be doing something like markedly different, or
Yeah.
at least
It's
adding
not-
more of their flair to it, and that does not appear to be what's happening here. Like, it's very, it just seems derivative.
They didn't really show this off in the trailer, but apparently the gameplay is not your standard third-person shooter. It's a mixture of third-person shooter and action puzzle. So your
Hmm.
companion Diana like hacks the robots to make it easier for you to kill them. And the hacking puzzle is like this real-time action puzzle thing that you're trying to solve while also dodging robot attacks. So it's a little bit frantic for what I've been told. I shouldn't say for what I've been told, for what I've heard in press coverage of it. But the proof will be in the pudding. We'll have to see how exactly it plays out when it comes out.
Didn't
But
Nier Automata do that?
Yes.
Nier Automata would kind of do it almost separately. So you could go into a hacking mode, but you wouldn't have to worry about real-time combat stuff when you were in hacking. And hacking was like a bullet hell type mini game.
Yeah, no. I played it, but that's what I mean. I was like, didn't Nier Automata do this? But
Yeah,
I
it's
couldn't
not
remember.
similar,
Like,
but
I
you
couldn't
would have
remember
to
if it was
juggle
done
both
in
at once.
combat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Also,
more
yeah,
like the
yeah,
World
like-
Ends With You style, doing two things at once.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
the two characters in Astral Chain pretty similar. But anyway,
I-
Silent Hill F. I'm so fucking
Yes.
That
Oh
is
my god. I'm
legit
so
game of the
happy.
year right now.
Oh, I'm so
and-
happy.
And whether for another major showcase, Marvel took on Fighting Souls. Am I going to play it? Probably not. Is it objectively a really big deal? Yes. Like, Sony bought Evo and decided they needed to make Marvel vs. Capcom for themselves. Like, that's fucking crazy.
I think it's really funny that they announced this not like 6 months after Maximilian Dude dropped like 20K on that mod, that Marvel vs. VC Infinite mod.
Yeah, I'm sure he's feeling great, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the game is just genuinely impressive. Like, well stylized, good characters, just like, yeah, it's hitting the notes. Arxis are very talented folks. Is
I mean,
Can I
they
play Guilty Gear Strive? No, most fighting games without the Street Fighter 6 modern control option aren't for me. But I respect what they do a huge deal.
I mean, hey, they gave Dragon Ball fans the exact fighting game that we wanted to. So I wish it wasn't Marvel because I'm tired of it. But I don't know, if my friends that play Tekken with me play it, I'll probably play it.
Yeah. Merv, how do you feel about Thief VR?
I don't
sorry.
think you can rescue that franchise. I think
No,
that,
you
I think,
definitely can. Not under
I think
Embrace.
Thief 2014 killed it.
Yeah.
That game was so incredibly bad. I don't think that franchise is revivable.
For me, as a I don't know, like, I know of Thief, but like, I don't have the familiarity with like the actual series. I just genuinely thought that did actually look like it looked like one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, if you're going to use VR for this, have it be a thing where you're picking up thingies and like examining them and making little tweaks to them. I'm curious how it does like turn out. I mean, there's part of me that just thinks, I feel like people had a negative reaction. I could be wrong, but I feel like everyone reacted pretty negatively whenever like Half-Life Alyx was revealed as like, hey, we're bringing Half-Life back and it's a VR only game. But then people had played it and it was like, actually, this is extremely sick. And I could see this being the same. I could also see this being a like just forgettable, hey, do you want to use your VR set? You know how you have using it
I
as?
I think the thing with VR, with like Alex in particular, it was less that about the game in being in VR and like in specific, and more just about the fact that it's proven by this point that VR is, at least as it stands right now, is just going to be in the realm of niche hobbyists. Like, it is too cost prohibitive for the average player. So they basically released, it's a new Half-Life game, but only a handful of you are gonna be able are gonna afford to play it. So like, I think that was more the reaction rather than about the game itself, because like the game itself is good.
And now Valve is apparently doing another really advanced, really expensive VR. That's not official yet, but Very, very
Well,
heavily rumored.
Didn't the PSVR numbers come out too, and they're like super dire?
PSVR 2 is
Yeah.
really
They're
fucking
like
bad. It
yeah,
shows no one supporting
horrible
it. Like,
adoption rate. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, they sent that piece of kit out to die.
yeah.
They
Mm.
didn't
That
really
was
market it appropriately. It's not backwards compatible with PSVR 1. Lots of
it was
mistakes
the
made
first
along the way.
it was the first piece of hardware to get a permanent price cut in a long time too, like from the main three console manufacturers at
but
least.
then but then to
This
make up
one-
for that, they're raising the price of the PS5 just because they're like, we
Yeah.
have to make up for that.
Oh, yeah, the price just keeps going up on that thing. Like, I would
Yeah.
have saved money buying that on the ground floor. Now I'm just never going to own a PS5.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's where I'm at too. If it's like, should I don't want to buy one now because I don't need to buy one, but also like, how expensive is this thing gonna be by the end? Like,
I
If I
keep
Go ahead.
thinking like, oh sure, I keep thinking like, should I just wait to buy a PS6, knowing that there's a decent chance they won't have backwards compatibility with my beloved PS4? I don't want to buy a. I don't want to just remove that. I've got a lot of nice games on it, but
I still have my PS4 because Konami was
yes.
Oh, are you just like play PT every other month to feel something?
I play PT. You joke, but I play PT about once a year.
I
that's cool.
I-
That's
Like
awesome.
usually around Halloween. I think I'm actually this year. I think I'm going to stream it for Halloween for my friends in my teching group because a lot of them don't really play horror games and they're all a bit younger, so they haven't seen it.
all of
And I was talking about it, and they're like, "Whoa, well, I want to see that."
all of
Yeah,
all of my friends and family got a PS4 in 2015 or later, so literally none of us had the chance to play PT while it was available.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'll stream PT.
You got to expose PT to the Zoomers, right? Or
Yeah.
expose
Yeah.
the Zoomers to PT. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
get 'em on there.
And also,
so
I've
how-
played it enough that I think I know where all of the jump scare, like all the major scares are, so they don't bother me as much now.
So you're just ready for.
So you're just playing it
unfazed.
completely stoically while your entire audience is screaming their asses off.
It's just the gate, the bathroom door just is like, oh, it's occupado. My bad.
Yeah, the state of play was solid, and I would call it like better paced and better produced than they usually are. But
Yeah.
like, if you don't want a PS5 already, it wasn't gonna change your mind.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
been
But
like
almost all these games on whatever PC rig you have, Merv.
Yeah,
I
Kappa,
think me and Merve have
mentioning-
had the same reaction every year to the PlayStation summer game show. It's like it's not gonna sell me on one yet, you know. So if it hasn't by now, I don't think it's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we-
especially when the highlights are all cross-platform games. Like for me, Digimon
Yeah.
Story, Time Stranger.
Yeah.
This is exactly my shit. This is exactly what I want. And
I'm-
I think I'm one of the few people who thought the 007 game looked really neat.
Which one?
Does not look like a James Bond game, but it looks
Oh.
like
Yeah.
something I want to play.
No, 007 First Light looks good.
Yeah.
They emphasize the action in the marketing because, of course, they did. But if you look closely, you look at like their direct gameplay shots, you can see the Hitman in it.
Yes.
I know that Agent 47 crouch anywhere.
The
Oh yeah, and they've emphasized in like interviews that it's a very play your own way style game. I think Hitman, but with more set pieces, which
I think
totally
that's fine.
No, it's definitely still
Yeah.
Hitman. It's just marketing is marketing.
Yeah.
My worry about the game is just that it suffers kind of what Indiana Jones suffered, where it starts out very player directed and very open ended, and then kind of like moves into a much more restrictive like funnel. But Hitman is great, and I have absolutely no doubt that the Hitman-y parts of this game are going to be great.
You can have a fire extinguisher.
Yes.
Was it? I think it was Merv that mentioned Code Vein 2.
Oh
No,
yeah,
that was
Code
it.
Vein 2 is happening.
That
Code
was
Vein
it.
2 is happening. All 12 of us are overjoyed.
Yeah, so
Look,
they're making a fantastic character creator, and there might be a Souls like bolted on.
Look,
Yeah.
you have no idea. I mean, that was at SGF. That was on the stage
Okay.
show,
Yeah,
but it still was like you see like the fighting, and I was like, oh, this looks like gothy, like sort of Code Veiny. And then as soon as the respirator mask popped up on the person, I was like, yes, we're back. Like,
No, I saw it under my on YouTube after the fact, and me and my partner Sal, they're just sitting on the couch scrolling, and we look at it and we just stop, and I'm like, "Girl, stop! Nuh-uh."
like no,
I love that the MacGuffin girl is like bottom thick now instead of top thick.
No comment.
No thigh gap.
they got their
That's kind of
proportions.
been the shift over the past. I mean, we'll get into the gooning in a little bit, but that's kind of been the gooner shift over the past, let's say, 10 years, from from the T
Needs to
down
get
to the
horny
A.
again.
Like the fort has kind of shifted on the body.
The ass presence in the GTA 6 trailer.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh man.
That
That's
trailer
been
is all
pain
A.
on the head.
Mm.
But I also
are there
wanted
any
to
other?
I also want to say, this is a more general comment. There are so many Souls-likes happening all the time.
Yeah.
That's all. Even for people like me who love
Yeah.
Souls-likes, it's really old. And I think it's
Yeah.
a
We'll
shame
get into that.
bigger names like Neo 3 and Code Vein 2 can happen, but they're overshadowed by just the fact that it's just such a sea of them.
Yeah, this is Lily, you and I love FromSoft games. Like we are Souls-like people. This was too many.
Non-fun ones.
Yeah, this was way too many of them, and
Yeah.
the thing with the Souls-like genre is that, and maybe this was an issue back in the 90s when first-person shooters were kind of just seen as Doom clones, but they often feel very overtly derivative in a way that's frustrating.
Yeah,
there were so many here. Yeah.
Yeah, Mortal Shell 2? I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
So I guess we're getting into SGF now because that's where that was announced.
Oh, okay.
Are there any other highlights from the state of play that you wanted to discuss before we move on to SGF?
I'll do this quick. I'm happy Bloodstained 2 exists. There was nothing about the trailer that seemed particularly exciting, but I like Bloodstained 1, and I'm sure it will be fine. It's once we see what the map looks like, which is a weird thing to say about a game, but that's fine.
Yeah, and really important for a Metroidvania.
You're going to have to wait a while for it to be playable on Switch 2.
Yeah.
I like that they were talking about all the enemies, we'll unseen, terrible horrors, and I'm like, oh, you mean the skeleton in the Nikes?
Yeah.
Last thing
I hope
I'll say
they saw
is
Nikes.
New Suda 51 game, Romeo just the Dead Man, looks kind of interesting.
It just kind of looks like more No More Heroes to me.
It did. It looked very like No More. What some of the post conference press said about it seemed like it was a little more interesting than that, but yeah, seems okay. Well, I'll have to see more before I
making things sound at this point than play interesting.
Yeah. I kind of do miss the Suda, the pre No More Heroes Suda, who was doing stuff like Michigan Report from Hell.
Or Silver Case, and
yeah, exactly. Or producing Contact, which is maybe the most insane Nintendo DS game ever made.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like.
I feel like it's kind of been he's kind of been stagnant since Killer is Dead. I think that was the real mark of when Pseudo is kind of.
Well, that's the game of the day.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
That was the game a couple of days ago. All
that
right,
was literally today. Or I guess by the time this goes up, it will be. But yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what?
So there's that Wordle clone Guess the Game. It was the game of the day, and I guess what happened was I guessed it, and Bloom Wing's a little salty because they didn't.
I just forgot
they
the name.
guessed me. typically I'm the one who sucks because I don't remember games from the 90s because I didn't play. I was playing SimCity and Roller Coaster Tycoon in the 90s. Everyone else is sitting there with their Nintendos and their PlayStations
Oh
playing
my
all the
god.
JRPGs, and I
Oh,
can't tell
oh,
you
I see what
apart
this
like
is. I see
Final
what this is.
Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 5. Same freaking game to me
Mhm.
for all I know. But the
So
second I
I-
identify a cool art style from
Mm.
a otherwise mediocre game, suddenly I'm the game expert out of nowhere.
hey, look, I got the art style pretty quickly. I was like, this is a grasshopper game, and then I was like, I don't know what the name of
You
this
don't
game is.
remember all the Grasshopper games because they all kind of bleed together after a while. Like
Yeah,
Killer
I was
Stuff
like,
and
this.
Killer's Dead.
The only thing I was like, I was like, it's not a No More Heroes because those were Wii for the first release.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
I just
They're
found
also
out
like
there's
got
gonna
that
be a
red
field effects
shade.
remaster.
I knew it was a Suda 1 joint as soon as like all of the weird camera angles and all the genre hopping, like all the medium hopping. I'm like, oh, this is a Suda 1 joint.
The dialogue always.
Yeah,
is
the
an
dialogue too. Hmm.
I mean,
Video games
genre
tone and
hopping
character.
and weird camera angles can be Yoko Taro, but Yoko Taro would have like more like sexy robots instead of sexy humans.
Yeah, more upskirts.
Yeah,
More ass.
God bless perverts. So
one-
Summer Game Fest.
well,
Speaking of
one.
perverts,
Sorry.
Um,
Merve, real quick. Sorry, I was gonna briefly say also, the Sony one did give us finally the Final Fantasy Tactics.
oh yeah, FFG
Oh, yeah.
Remastered.
That was at the Sony one. I don't know. Looks like it is a it looks like it's Final Fantasy Tactics.
It's doing
Yeah.
its job.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like,
It's not Tactics Advance, which is the one that's actually interesting.
Tactics Advance is the one I bought on Wii U Virtual Console before
Oh.
that closed down. So I thank you for recommending it to me. I should play it at some point.
It's good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to perverts. SGF.
I if
This is
it's
a
okay.
majority of my podcast.
Sorry.
Sorry, Wolfman, go ahead.
No, it's no problem. If it's okay, I would like to go first because the game that was most exciting to me is kind of indicative of what will become one of my many problems with this event.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Requiem, which is, is rumored, it's coming out next year. I love Resident Evil. I know I'm not alone on that in this podcast, and given the track record and what little I have heard from the like on show demos, it sounds very good. It sounds really, really strong. This is not surprising. Modern Resident Evil is great. I didn't think the trailer was amazing, but that's whatever. To me, it was the customary, here's one more thing from this event. And they did that after about 40 minutes prior, they bring out the head of Capcom's Resident Evil team, and he's like, sorry, we're working on our next mainline game, but we're planning a thing for next year, wink, because it's our 30th anniversary. To me, this was a dire show. This is about the most dire I've ever seen from SGF. And to me, it really was like, you only had one really good thing, and you're leaning on that so much and trying to do a fake out when you are coming up with nothing in a 2-hour show. To me, it was like,
Yeah, Wolfman and I watched the show together, and that fake out drove us insane.
Yeah, I was very angry. We were both very angry.
Yeah, I did a similar thing with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth a few years ago, and that show had more other things going on. Also, the fake out was like it started with a mobile game ad where it's Sephiroth's like high quality model, and then he pulls out a smartphone, and that's funny.
Yeah.
At least the fake out was like clever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, yeah. I get it, Keeley. You think you have to have a 2-hour show. But in a show that went on for 2 hours and had an ad for a Game Mill game, Game Mill, the publisher behind the likes of Kong Skull Island, and you had to bring on Mads Mikkelsen because he is the closest thing you had to a celebrity for a new game. In this case, he's there for an update for a Hitman 3 bonus mission.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, what the hell are you doing with this, Jeff?
I don't know. He seems to have been in kind of a, I don't know, kind of a rut. Like, I don't know if that's because I see what you're getting at. I don't know if that's just a sign of the show or just the format itself showing its age.
The show is kind of always like this. It's just getting old. Like, it's just getting more annoying that nothing's changing.
I think
and in this case, it
Bones
also
hit
came on
the
the
nail
heels
on
of
the
a
head.
really good PGS.
I think Bones has really hit the nail on the head because I was watching it, and to be clear, I was bored and I hated a lot of it.
Yeah.
I don't think I hated it much more than previous years, with the exception of some things we're going to get into in a little bit. But like, it was more that there were some really, really bad lowlights, and they just kind of brought down the mood from what was like otherwise an okay-ish show, at least from my perspective. Like, I don't really care about Resident Evil, so the fake out didn't piss me off. And I understand if you're a Resident Evil fan, that's going to play very differently. But for the most part, there were just a bunch of lowlights that really brought it down for me. In terms of things that I thought were actually interesting, though, before we really get into the really bad stuff, it was mostly a lot of like AA and more indie stuff. I think the only AAA games that really looked cool to me were Mafia: The Old Country. I'm actually really excited to play one of these. I know it's like your standard third-person action adventure. I'm just craving one of those right now. Sorry?
Mafia looks. I think Mafia looks good too. It was also like its 10th trailer.
Yeah.
Which
This is, I think, the first time we've seen like a lot of gameplay though. Which okay, it looks like your standard action adventure game, but
it was the first time showing gameplay in one of these shows. Yeah, sometimes.
And then I'm an RGG sicko, so Stranger Than Heaven also, really
that looks so good.
Stranger Than Heaven
looks so good. I'm so excited.
And
it looks like so the first trailer was set in 1910s, and this one's set in the 1940s. The code name for the project was Project Century, so there might be some storytelling through the ages going on, which
which is one of the best things about Yakuza 0. So yeah, I'm very excited for that.
No, it's
imagine really like Yakuza 0 through Yakuza like 7, kind of all told in one kind of sequence or narrative, compressed into one game.
It's promising, but Sega literally just said that that thing's not coming for at least 12 more months.
Oh yeah, that there'll be something else from RGG in the interim. I think Virtua Fighter 6 will come before that, probably.
Yeah.
Was there any Virtua Fighter 6 stuff? I didn't see any. I wasn't sure if I missed it though.
Yeah, it's gotten some stuff, but it wasn't at this specific block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Virtua Fighter 6 might be a little ways away too.
I will say, as far as more indie stuff, Mouse, the like old school black and white rubber kind of animation game, looks really cool. Infinitesimals looks like a pretty interesting grounded clone. And I don't really
for
want
all the
to
Buck Bumble folks.
By the what folks? Sorry.
Oh, I was saying, no, it's like this one goes out to everybody who wants to play another Buck Bumble.
Oh yeah,
Buck Bumble.
And like, I'm not sure I really actually want to play Felt that, but whatever tech they have that makes the game look the way it does is just incredible. So kudos to that dev team.
This isn't a positive one, but I was kind of fascinated by Killer Inn. It's like basically it's a social deduction game like Among Us, except it's also a shooter. And at no point during the trailer did I feel like it seemed like did it seem sensible for the bad guy team to just kill the good guy team, like just be a shooter? This looks like it's going to be kind of a mess, but it is an interesting mess.
Every once in a while, Square Enix just picks the most random projects to publish. Like, they published Power Wash Simulator. And this seems like one of those, just like someone in their headquarters in Tokyo was like, yes, that game, just for no reason whatsoever. And so I'm always intrigued to see what these random third party publications from Square Enix look like.
Yeah, Killer and probably would have been in the same like quote unquote indie label as Power Wash if that department basically got gutted.
Oh yeah, it was called.
I think they
What was it
just
called?
called
It
it
was the
this
same
way.
one that did Black the
Square
Fall
Enix.
and Tokyo Dark. I forget what
Yeah.
that label was called.
Square Enix Collective.
That's it, Square Enix Collective. I loved Tokyo Dark. I should remember that. Yeah. Any other highlights that y'all want to shout out from SGF before we
Yeah, I
get
had a
into the
few.
weeds?
I got that Game of Thrones one. I thought looked really interesting. I think there's so many mods to play Game of Thrones and different RTSs that maybe if they finally make a game dedicated to it, take off a little bit. That there's like that Tom Hardy Kingdom Come type game. I think it was called like Chronicles.
Yeah, Chronicles Medieval.
Chronicles.
Yeah, it
Oh,
looked
yeah.
cool. I thought that was pretty cool. I think Arc Raiders has a chance. I mean, it's eaten all of Marathon's.
Yeah,
You know,
now that Marathon's out of the picture
yeah,
for sure.
and I think a lot of people kind of maybe didn't like it at the time, but I think it's kind of caught on. Is that Starfield like NASA punk look? And I think that Arc Raiders really kind of took that look and ran with it. I think that's just a cool art style to kind of try to put in an extraction shooter.
It looked like Concord if it actually had personality.
Yeah, like everything in that world looks used and like there's a purpose to it, and it's not just all like set decoration and stuff.
Yeah, like there's an intention behind, like, at least that visually there's an intention behind the aesthetic design that
Yeah,
like you can actually see. Whereas Concord, it's like, okay, what are they doing? Like,
and
why
that
is this here?
sometimes helps. That sometimes helps in an extraction shooter too. Like Hunt Showdown had a lot of that going on, where it's like okay, well, there's clearly something in this house that's got all these like things flying around it and stuff. So, yeah, I think Arc Raiders has a chance. Where I don't think Marathon has one at all. So.
I want to shout out Fractured Blooms, which was not shown well. The marketing was very irritating. I think the game itself is very solid. The idea of it's a farming sim, but the farming part is kind of all in your mind, and you're quietly going crazy. Like it's gimmicky, but I think it has potential. I guess
Has potential.
Has potential.
Let's
And I also liked Acts of Blood. Yeah, an Indonesian
Like the
brawler.
Indonesian sleeping dogs-ish kind of game.
Yeah, I thought that looked solid. Yeah, these are these. I'm someone that's really really cautious with what I buy up front. So my enthusiasm is always going to be tempered, even for things I genuinely think look good. But I thought both of those had a lot of potential.
I guess one good highlight was I think Lego Voyagers. Actually looks very neat. It's the one where you're like it's a co-op one where you're playing as like a single 1x1 Lego piece with an eye.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And I was just especially happy that it wasn't because like I'm very over the sort of like the Lego game humor in a way, like the way it is, and especially that it's always all pop culture references, but done irreverently. And it's like, I don't know, I just am kind of over that. So I'm seeing them be like, hey, no, this is actually going to be just a silent game where you click around with Legos instead of like quirky characters talking. Like,
I think like I think that's a good point, and I think Lego kind of saw that cozy aesthetic sort of taken over, and I feel like that's what this one is aiming for, going for like a cozy instead of a like
It's
off the wall humor.
This is the second game by guys who did a different art house Lego game, Lego Builder's Journey.
Mm.
I did
the
not know.
puzzle one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a puzzle game. Yeah, they're still doing their thing, and more power to them. Yeah. Yeah, it certainly looks more interesting than Lego Party.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? Yeah, God.
I'm kind of
Yeah,
happy to
that's-
see a Mario Party clone again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I agree. There were so many Souls-like games. There were so many Genshin Impact clones this time around. So many live service updates for live services that haven't even come out or hadn't by the time that the show aired. Like, at least something of this is this is purely just gaming calories. This is a ripoff of something that will largely be ignored and maybe make a slight profit and whatever. There's something very charming about that, even though it looked incredibly obnoxious as an actual game.
Yeah, my low light was 100% too much Souls-like shit. I mean, it was unbearable at one point. Like every trailer just starting out with some murky looking swamp, and a giant axe. I was like, oh, here we go again.
Wasn't Mino the Hollower a part of this show, or was that a different one?
Yes, it was.
And something that was not apparent to me when Mina the Hollower appeared was that its launch day announcement was only for PC. It is not currently scheduled for all the consoles ever yet. It might be first. And as one of the two non-PC people here, I do mean personal computers. That's a disappointment.
Well, part of the reason I bring that up is because I played the demo on PC, the Main of the Hollower demo, and Wolfman, to your point about too many Souls likes.
It's it's a Link's Awakening homage Souls-like.
Yeah, it's got a lot of Souls-like mechanics in it, and I'm just like, oh come on.
Okay. Now the thing I will say is that a lot of the Souls-like mechanics were already in Shovel Knight. So
that is true. Yeah,
that's not.
I mean, it's a lot more apparent now because back then you could especially when Shovel Knight came out, you could kind of make the argument that that's a pre-Elden Ring game if that makes sense. Pre Dark Souls 3, pre-Elden Ring. So it was still pretty compartmentalized, but
and you can talk about how Dark Souls, specifically Dark Souls 1 and Shovel Knight had similar retro inspirations.
Yeah, exactly. But with Mina the Hollower with the demo, it's I don't know if it's just because we've seen so much of it, but it's really apparent, and it's just kind of I thought part of me is it plays fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but part of me was also just come on, man, I thought y'all knew better than this. Come on.
Yeah, the Souls-like trends getting irritating for everyone. The Hades-like trend is already getting old.
Oh my god.
You will get occasional ones that I like. I really dug Rainbreaker, but for the most part, if you if you do the Hades style thing, there's one in what was it called? It was in Day of the Devs from the Guacamelee guys.
Yeah,
Blighted. But that one's actually a Metroidvania. It's the isometric action, but it's not a roguelike. So that's
Blighted intrigues me. Yeah.
But yeah.
The thing about doing the Hades is that Hades 2 is coming.
Yeah,
you're competing with the guys themselves.
Yeah, and Hades 2 looks really good. I haven't paid attention to the early access. I'm just waiting for it to come out on Switch 2, but
they just did a patch for the Hades 2 early access. There's it is polished to a mere sheen. It is basically done, but there is one set of weapons that they keep having to redo because nobody likes playing them. It's those weird torches. They keep getting them wrong. So they've revamped them. I think this is the second or third time they've had to revamp these weapons. So I think that's the main thing that they're trying to focus on is getting the combat.
The weapons.
It would not be Hades if there wasn't one weapon that most people didn't like. Sorry,
yeah,
Bo.
exactly. Yeah. Hey, the
couple
bow's cool.
bow is fun. It was the gun was the one for me. Anyway,
Yeah.
The other thing that I was gonna say that was like low points, besides like I think definitely stuff that you're about to get into, Merv, is like bad, but there's a lot of level of, and I'm just frustrated with this in general, of a lot of like, I don't know, trotting out of IPs and stuff. And so, like, for example, I entirely forgot until like I saw this again that like they announced like, hey, there's a new Scott Pilgrim game. But it also looks like just like Scott Pilgrim did
15 years
15
ago.
years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the fact that and especially in the case of that, it's almost funny since like the whole thing that starts off Scott Pilgrim is him dating a high schooler because he just wants to stay in the past like stuff. Like he's a bad person who just is like staying, who like just wants to still be having a simple past life. And it's like, well, now you're trotting out the same Scott Pilgrim
Yeah.
again.
The media
And then also,
as a whole is super nostalgia driven right now, and it is really
Yeah.
exhausting.
and
And the like constant rehashing of the same license IPs is of a piece with the like other like the
Yep.
trend chasing thing we were just describing. Like it's, you know, I came into this industry a wide-eyed optimist, and 6 years later, like I can't pretend that every single different indie Souls-like and indie Hades-like and everything is someone like 100% chasing their own vision. People are desperate to stay afloat, and trend chasing is what's getting them in the door, and it's very depressing.
You know what kind of
Yeah.
stuck out for me too was like even how like the Fortnitification, everybody wants to get random characters in.
Mhm.
It even seems like we're just recycling the same characters. Even like it seems like
Yes.
Hatsune Miku is just like get her in the game somehow.
Yep.
Yeah, like even if it doesn't fit, it doesn't matter.
That was the other one I was actually gonna.
To be fair, that's just a Hatsune Miku thing. Like she was created from the ground up to be that. Like that's just the Japanese media mix in play that has been in play for decades.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is the game that they mainly did that with at SGF was the other one that I was going to say that like just depresses me is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
Yeah,
which,
they announced like Nickelodeon characters for it. Not at SGF, that was a second later. But
yeah, they did that last night. At SGF, it was one of the Like a Dragon characters.
Ichiban.
Yeah. And
Ichiban,
Joker.
that's the same publisher, right?
And Joker. And it's like.
Yeah.
But it's like, other than that, it's all Sonic characters. So it really doesn't feel like, because like Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed is one of the hardest names to say, but also maybe the best kart racer of all time. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm totally cool with Ichiban being in there because he's canonically a gamer and he would love this. But
Ichi is
why
a very
Joker
good.
there?
To be fair, Joker's also a good.
Because Persona 5 big
mascot for decades. Like
yeah, Persona 5 is big now. Like that's it. It took off. Everyone bought Persona 5. You all love Persona 5. Minecraft is here too. Like
I hear what you're saying, which is that Sonic and Sega All Stars had more Sega stuff that was more unique. Like Shenmue.
It felt like Smash. It had Shenmue. It had Choo Choo Rocket. It had Skies of Arcadia. Like Vice being transformed was like
these are the first non-Sonic Sega characters in Sonic Racing in over 10 years. And it's an improvement from the last Sonic Racing game, but yeah, it's still just like, okay, you're gonna go for a couple of easy faves. You're not gonna do.
They should put the Alien from Alien Isolation in there.
Yeah, you know what I was saying? Like the Total Warhammer is Sega.
Total War, like Nobunaga in there.
They did.
They did. Born.
Transformed. Yes, you can play Shogun in Transformed.
True. Okay, that kind of rules. That's okay. That's pretty cool. That's oh man, dang it.
This is what
Like,
I'm
why are you
saying.
inviting
It's football,
SpongeBob to the party? We can play as the Shogun.
football manager was in there. And
Yeah.
I am going to do the disclaimer of also, yes, Transformed did also have Wreck-It Ralph and Danica Patrick.
Correct.
Danica
Mistakes were-
Patrick?
Yes.
Isn't
Well,
Danica
I'm sorry,
Patrick a
my
weird
face
prank
just
now?
did that. My face just did that Tiffany Pollard meme. Danica Patrick.
They also had Banjo and Kazooie, but specifically with the horrible Banjo Kazooie
Oh, the nuts and
style.
bolts.
Yeah. Team Fortress is in the Steam version.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
It's like the
Hey, this isn't
Pokemon
so
trainer
bad.
from Smash. It's like Spy and
But-
Heavy and I think Scout.
Pyro.
Yeah,
Pyro.
and they transform along with the thing. But it's like it just felt like that was like an homage to like Sega and being like, hey, remember all these games? You've got Jet Set Radio here. This really does feel like, hey, what are the big IPs? Well, we'll get someone who doesn't like Sonic to also buy this game. You kids
Yeah,
like
so-
Persona, right? You guys dig Like a Dragon, yeah? Like those are big now?
Yeah.
They're all series I'm a big fan of, but yeah, they're just going to really hammer Yakuza and Persona and Sonic into the ground and relegate all of their other IPs to apparently NFT riddled live service.
Or they show up in the
Yeah.
in the like big IP collage before Sonic 4.
Yeah. But I'm talking specifically about things like that Crazy Taxi reboot which looks fucking garbage.
Oh.
That shit looks so bad. Crazy Taxi live service where you play as the cops stopping people from having fun. What the fuck is wrong with you?
What?
You play as the cops?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
you play as the. It's
Old
bad.
fucking
It's
cops.
How's that
bad,
Crazy
dude.
Taxi?
It's
Crazy
not.
Taxi,
Regular
you've
cop.
gone too crazy. We can't stop you.
Love Taxi.
I
That's what we're playing now.
something real quick just about like the IP thing and just like the trotting out of not just IP but like the same
The
handful of
same-
like 50 IP. Something that I remember like last year Astrobot got like some flack for online mostly from bad faith actors, like let's be real, was like I think it comes at the very end of the game where it's all of the different little bots from all the different Sony IPs and stuff.
most of
And
them
I forget.
are IPs.
Yeah, and I forget the name of the YouTuber who did a video about this. I'll put in the link dump. I'll have to ask South what it was. He's the one that watched it, but he was telling me about it. And like everyone said, "Oh, this is a cash grab." You know, they're just showing off all their IPs. And then if you actually go through and look at all of the different bots that are there, most of those games are non-existent anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's not a cash grab. It's not like shoving their IPs in your face. It's a memorial. And that's something
kind of
it
Goes
feels
away.
way though.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
that's the point.
yeah, like, and it's one of those things where like you can give Sony like a lot of kind of shit about like just kind of how they have always had something of a brand / IP problem as far as like having a one IP that like you look at and you're like, oh yeah, Sony. But the flip side of that is all of this super weird thing, like super weird shit that they did for so many years. And like when you get a show like this that just is trotting out the same 5 IPs, it's like it feels like that spirit is gone in a way. And it's not just Sony doing it, obviously. It's a whole bunch of different ones, but like it just feels so staid and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the reason I play video games is because they don't bore me. It feels like the last medium where you can get truly new, mind-blowing, eye-opening shit, and that's just not happening anymore, it feels
Yeah,
like.
the only strategy that Sony is communicating for their old weirdo loser IPs is we're going to port them to Switch because we have courted an audience that doesn't value these kinds of games. They only want cinematic, high budget shit. So we'll sell
Yeah.
Padawan to Nintendo fans instead, and
Yeah,
they're
or put
not
it on
gonna
Steam.
assure
Bring
you.
Gravity Rush.
Yeah.
They are definitely going to do Gravity Rush. They'll do all the Sony
Yeah.
Japan stuff. Those guys who got gutted 5 years ago.
And every single time when I'm writing up the next Nintendo Direct, I'll say, this is the newest like thing, but this is the newest Sony game that's coming to Switch. And I'll make a joke about how bizarre and confusing the cultural understanding of the console wars has been in the past few years, and at least it'll be another. It could hopefully be another Leafs on Life for
This
some of them.
is only still a rumor for right now, but it's a very heavily sourced one. There's going to be a side-scrolling God of War spin-off, and it's going to be on all consoles day one.
I mean, sure,
I hadn't heard
fine.
the all consoles part, but I'd heard about the 2.5D God of War.
So
Greek
it's doing a version of a multi-plat strategy. I know that much, but anyway.
It I feel like it's such a weird and kind of unappealing idea. I'm saying this as a God of War fan. Like, that's the one Sony thing that I really like. But it's such a weird and kind of ungainly idea that I'm kind of compelled by it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, it's so strange.
It's just like, why?
reminds
Who
me of
asked?
the,
Who
like-
asked for this?
But that makes me kind of like excited. Like, this is
And also, like, what are the
just
odds
so-
the art style's going to be good?
Yeah,
It
not
reminds me
high.
a little bit of the 2.5D Assassin's Creeds, which actually have really interesting art styles, all of them. I don't know if they're actually fun to play, but conceptually interesting. There are a couple other things about SGF this year that really put a sour taste in my mouth. One of them was, it was kind of a reminder that Genshin has kind of inspired a lot of imitators. And they're all they're all gacha games. They're all using the same character design principles, same art style. It's all about collecting waifus. And they're really hard to tell apart. And
Yeah.
it just gives this impression. I mean, before we even get to the exploitative nature of all these things, it gives the impression that that kind of art style is really limiting, and it's not. Like, you can look at what Atlas does with anime inspired 3D art, and they are doing it like a different thing in every game. And it's just so weird that these things all look like they came from the same creative team.
Like,
Yeah.
even down
So
to the
much more
clothing,
space
like,
for.
it's like
Yeah.
they've only seen one dress in their entire life, and it's just every character has that dress for some reason.
Like,
I
every character has like the halter top dress with like
Yes,
the
yeah.
the different color above the chest, and then a different color for like the stomach area.
They all
Yeah.
have the X bangs, those cross bangs. I
Oh my
legitimately
God.
thought Wuthering Waves was from the same studio and was shocked to learn that it wasn't. Like, I was like, oh,
It's
they
from
have a new
an
one out.
ex-Genshin
No.
dev. Like, an ex-Genshin dev went and formed
Oh,
the studio
well,
that
okay.
made Wuthering
Well, there
Waves.
you go. Okay, well, there you go.
I just want to just reinforce one thing, which is that, like, there's a long history, a long and kind of unappetizing history of like games media, of people kind of deriding any Japanese thing as anime, like giving it kind of that same
yeah.
brush. And obviously there's stuff that does look more similar and stuff that does look more derivative. I feel pretty confident saying that after years of finding a lot of those criticisms to be overblown or kind of inconsistent, or maybe kind of hypocritical at times, because, you know, there are other companies, like the Sony house style is very similar. Whatever,
Yeah.
the Nintendo house style can be pretty similar to Capcom, but like
Yeah.
this feels like it, right? Like, these Genshin clones actually do feel identical. They actually
It feels
look identical.
it feels deliberate.
That's exactly what I'm pointing out, that like there is more to anime inspired art styles than this. And what this kind of repetition serves to perpetuate is this narrowing of what's like acceptable and commonplace in gaming for that art style. And like, it's going to have downstream consequences where now people who play these games get inspired and imitate that art style down the line, and other adjacent art styles never get developed further. That's what really irritates me about seeing all these clones.
Yeah, or like at
Yeah,
the
it makes me
very
think-
least, they're gonna have to imitate this style just to get their game in the door, like just to get eyes on it. And it's like,
Right, because
like
it's
for
the
instance, like
gacha
where
art
they were
style
talking
now.
about, yeah, like where we were talking about, you know, Code Vein earlier, and it's kind of like, huh, what? It seems Souls likely, but like, you know, what is this? And then we see the gas mask. It's like, oh yeah, that's Code Vein. Like it. these gacha games like Wuthering Waves and Genshin and stuff, they don't really have that same kind of immediate visual signifier, except in the very generic anime art, art style.
And a thing that they definitely that especially like you can compare to Code Vein, because Code Vein you could give yourself some like crazy costumes that wouldn't look out of place in Genshin. But the thing is that Code Vein also had this very like desaturated look that also a lot of like 90s anime has, for example. And like everything in like the Genshin likes is just so bright. Like that grass is so green. Everything is so blue, and skin is so light is another thing that we'll say on that.
Honky Star Rail. Honky Star Rail.
It's
like there's a game coming out, and this is from an Italian studio, but like just to give you an idea of like the different kinds of things that you can do. This game, Nitrogen Omega, it's in early access right now. I highly recommend it. But it has I didn't even know if this was the name for it or if it was the name for it, but it is inspired by spaghetti anime, and I'd never heard the term, but immediate was like, oh, you mean Tekonkincrete, you mean Desert Punk, you mean, Trigun, you mean like immediately that visual signifier, all those visual signifiers came to mind, and this game pulls that off expertly. It's so cool
good
to look at.
I did the demo for it like whenever they first dropped the demo for it, and I was like, this is it needed a lot of work. Obviously, like they only just now hit early access, and that was the demo from before then even, but it's like it just looks good. It feels good.
It's so fun to play. It looks so cool. Like I'm really, I honestly may just get the early access. Like I'm so excited to play it. Where do games like this fit in this current landscape? Right?
The calcifying of media.
I don't know. Maybe it'll have more of a chance on Switch.
I mean, the real hope is just it does. I mean, the real hope is like it doesn't have too much. That it doesn't have too much like dev cost, and B, that they actually like are willing to charge a like decent price for it, on the assumption that like everyone who's going to get this is going to be niche and into this, because. Yeah, like there's just so much that like you have to thread a needle of with price and stuff, and it's like. But again, then we have things like these free to play Genshin likes that they don't really care. Like they don't really care if you get sold or not. They're just looking for one person who is a whale. Like that's all they need.
Yeah.
I played Genshin Impact for hours and hours and never bored to dime into it. I guess I'm part of the problem.
Same.
They're looking for gooners. If you're not a gooner, I don't think you're their target audience.
But no, speaking
of Genshin Impact.
Look, you know what? You go first, Merve. Let's not do this.
I think I'm coming a little less hot, so I'll just be real quick on this. Genshin Impact started out not very goonish. It got more goonery as it progressed. Like the new characters, every new set of characters was wearing less clothing. So it's like they kind of snuck in, and then the gooners are the only people who stuck around.
That's what I meant. That's their target audience. That's what I was saying. Like that's who they want to stick around. That's why.
It's a very specific kind of gooner.
I don't know what the direction of causality is, though. Was it that the gooners are sticking around and they catered to the gooners, or that they specifically wanted the gooners to stick around because they thought the gooners were more likely to be whales? I don't know which one it is.
It's the latter.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you feel an emotional attachment to a character so much that you'll buy every single, different colored, short skirt they put out, that's what they want, because you don't have to make a ton of content.
You don't buy the short skirts. You buy a chance at earning specific short skirt. So you keep rolling until you get the specific mini skirt that your favorite waifu can equip.
And it's only available for a limited time between, for like 3 weeks. And then after that, it's gone. And to my knowledge, Genshin does not have do they have like just a legacy gacha pull thing on there where you can get stuff from past events?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I played it, it wasn't old enough to have something like that, so I don't know.
I've played some FTP stuff. I played Multiverses. I played a little Marvel Rivals. I've never, ever, ever touched anything that's gotcha or loot box in
Hmm.
Yeah.
life. No fucking thank you.
Yep.
I did Fire Emblem Heroes, and that one, like, at a certain point, I
Well-
realized it was just kind of a depressing, like, bus
Yeah.
ride. Like, I was
Well, I guess I
20
technically I earned loot boxes when I still played Overwatch, but I never bought one. Is what I mean.
Yeah. The same with
hey,
me. I got
Yeah.
gems and
Paid gambling in video games is content. I to go back to the Gooner thing for just a second. I can believe that it's been an increased prioritization over time. I
Yeah.
totally buy. There's an active expense at other demographics in the audience. I totally believe that happened.
yeah.
Let's get into that for a second, because it was not just the gooning, it was the almost like thumbing its nose at authority kind of nature of the gooning and the violence that was on display.
I say.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah,
felt disingenuous because that's not where the culture is at right now. Like, hey, people are cool with video game violence, broadly speaking, in the gaming press and more broadly. And like half the internet is gooning now. Like, gooning is just what we do. It's not 1995 anymore.
No,
Yeah.
And like, in any case, even if it were like 1995, you're on the biggest stage in gaming right now. You do not get
Yeah.
to pretend that you are fighting back against
little guy.
authority censoring you. That is
You're
not
yeah.
what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And you know, there's porn video games. They exist, you know. So
They
you've got-
they
Fine,
I'm
sure
right.
They've
did.
existed for
Yes,
they've-
exactly.
They've existed since there were games.
Yep.
Yeah, and now they're more easily accessible than ever. Just turn off the adult filter and have
Yeah.
fun. Go mad on Steam. You can masturbate to whatever you want. It's great.
It's just like whenever you're making the argument that you're doing something crazy because you know you've got slightly risque. When there's like, no, there's if I wanted to on Steam right now, I could probably sort by most popular, and I bet you top 5 out of the top 10 are just straight up porn
You
games,
can
right? They
probably
exist.
sort Steam
Yeah.
games by dick size at this point. Like, it's just there.
And
That's
like,
what I was getting to. Was like, I don't.
those are user generated tags.
God bless Steam users. Oh my god.
like,
Um,
but like, I don't like what I forget what game it was, but it had like the really leering shot of like the woman zipping up her bodysuit or
Oh my god!
whatever.
Yeah.
What game is that? What game is that? What's that
Was it
called?
like-
I have no idea.
Was
This
it
is
like
the
a
problem,
common
right?
game?
it's
too?
so unmemorable that we're not remembering what these games actually are, what they play like, what their art style is. We're remembering bits and pieces of like cleavage. I was actually going back through my notes, and in my notes it says obligatory cleavage shot, but it doesn't even mention the game the obligatory cleavage shot is from. So I don't even remember what that was referencing.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I mean, Soul Calibur did this with Ivy, but like with Soul Calibur, again, it was a visual signifier because, like, kind of back then, like, there were really only like a handful of characters like that, and like in the game, in specific, usually they were the only character in that game that was like that, so they got used in all the marketing. So like, you would see a set of boobs, and you're like, oh, those are Ivy's boobs, or whatever.
And Voldo,
Or like Rouge the Bat.
Yeah.
Or bless
They ha-
Voldo. God bless
They
Voldo.
they have Ivy, but they also have Voldo and Sophita and Taki. So it always
Sophia and
feels like
Taki.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I've never actually played Soul Calibur beyond like 3 minutes of Soul Calibur 2, so I do apologize for that.
Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah, but there's there's a variety in
Yeah.
like in Soul Calibur that these new crop of like weird Genshin live service games just don't. Everyone
I
kind
think
of
there's-
does.
I think like
But
there's
there's
also
variety in breast size. It goes from big to honky bazongas. Like, that's what we're dealing with
that's
here.
not. Man, why don't they just play into it, and instead of having the polls be like 1 star to 5 star, it's like A to triple D. It's just what like equal on. Just like
Well, I think the other thing about it too is that like the hypersexualization of video games back then, like obviously, like not on the whole, generally speaking, like not good, obviously.
No.
But but there was at least kind of a a cheekiness to it when it was done well. Like there was something like just kind of funny about it, to the point where like especially like the people getting offended about like Ivy and Soul Calibur, aside from one, y'all aren't playing the game anyway, but two, it's like this is one of those things that like it's so ridiculous it just wraps back around to being like, you know what, okay, fine, like are you really going to expend energy being upset about something like this brazen? Like it's
Yeah.
clearly made, it's bait, people. But like with
Also,
Genshin,
the cultural context was different back then, right?
yeah,
It genuinely was rebelling against a both sensorial and censorious attitude from the general public regarding video games. And that's just not, at least in North America, where the culture is right now, it's at worst something that people just accept.
But I think there was also like something about the fact that, especially with games like Genshin and like all these gotchas, like you at least like with Ivy from Soul Calibur, you at least got the impression that she was doing this of her own accord and that she was having fun. Like the best.
The
one of the best
precursor
things,
to Bayonetta style stuff. Yeah.
like one of the best criticisms I've heard about Stellar Blade, as far as like why Eve, the character, like looks like that in the criticism. This is the only like criticism of that I will accept, is the main issue with Eve from Stellar Blade is that she does not know what she looks like. Like she does not behave in a way that indicates that she knows what she looks like, and because of that, she comes across as very, like, everything that she does comes across as like very voyeuristic and strange. Like it is uncomfortable because you don't get the impression that, and I mean, there's like, there's a way to depict that in such way where like, you can like examine that, like, she cannot help how she looks, like whatever, like, and again, there's a way to examine that, but they don't do that in that game, and that's the part that is so unsettling about it. And there's a lot of games out that are like that.
About that
yeah, I mean,
Perfect Blue, and you all should watch it.
Oh my god, Perfect Blue is so good. God.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wolfman, go ahead, please.
Like, okay, I think a good like example with this actually is, and I'm saying this because we all love the game, it's great, but like that's 2B in Nier Automata, like is very much like that. Hypersexualized acts in a way where it doesn't feel clear that that's going on in the way that like it is with Bayonetta or Ivy.
And well, it's funny. Well, because Nier Automata, it's funny because like Yoko Taro like flat out basically said like whatever. It's like, hey, why does she look like that? He's just like, because I wanted to see her ass.
Yeah, like,
and the funny thing is, if you try to aim the camera under her dress, she kicks the camera. So she does know how she looks.
Fair enough.
She does knows how she looks. Like, I think that's the difference.
Yeah. There's also a like aesthetic and narrative coherence to the character design that isn't really present in Stellar Blade. It isn't about just about like 2B being hot. It's 2B wearing a very specific type of French-made costume that symbolized a very specific thing. And so you're kind of killing two birds with one stone there. Like, yes, she's there for the gooning, but also the specific gooning they picked was of a piece with what they were trying to say with that game.
There's three kinds of horny games. There's games that are horny because the person who made it was horny. There's the person who made it because because sex sells, and they're the less cynical like that's always cynical, a cynical reflex as a creator. But there's the less cynical and more cynical version of that. I think Stellar Blade comes off as the most cynical version of that kind of thing.
Oh, 100%.
Nier Automata is just a sincerely horny game.
Well, or we get But then we
Yeah.
also get things like and this was another one that was like one of the biggest ones at SGF was like these are we're talking about like some sexy robots here and stuff, and Atomic Heart got up here a bunch.
Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart.
And we could go into the idea of like, hey, what would a society look like? Like, what if a society made its like worker robots be hot women because they're designed by a patriarchal society? Interesting thing to examine. Does not feel like it is doing that, especially whenever the trailer is basically being like, hey, these robots got boobs.
Mascots.
Yeah, like, I think Kappa and I have both played Atomic Heart, and I can kind of
I've watched South play it, and go ahead, but I think I know what you're about to get at.
Okay, so like, there's been a lot of. I'm not going to even call it reporting on Atomic Heart. It's more like people regurgitating stuff that said in forums about it, particularly surrounding like the time it came out with the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, and I think a lot of that's just been kind of poorly reported on. But especially if you play the game, you'll understand it's not about that. But
I didn't think it was particularly horny. I think the marketing is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
In a way,
that's actually really the point I want to get at is they've created this game that does a specific thing, uses a specific art style, is about a specific time and place. And there is these sexy robots in there. They're in the game. They're not a large part of the game. But then because they became this iconic part of the marketing, they're just kind of all over the place. And there's this cynical marketing angle where they're trying to pull in the Gooners and the Chuds with the sexy robots and be like, oh, your other FPSs don't have these sexy robots. But there's such a tiny part of the overall experience that it just ends up feeling like they picked the gooniest bullshit that they could find in the game. Go ahead.
It feels like a Goonie version of the Minions from the Despicable Me's, where it was like, hey, we love the Minions,
exactly.
So like we're gonna make we're gonna put more Minion scenes in the movie. We're gonna put more Minion scenes in all the sequels. We're gonna make Minions only films. Like people glommed onto those, and they said
sexy that I was saying.
And it's like,
the sexy robots are not why Atomic Heart sucks. Atomic Heart sucks because it's extremely poorly written and the combat is awful. But like, I fear that it's going to get criticized as being the kind of game that it really isn't. Like, particularly about what its story is actually saying and the amount of, let's say, prurient content. That's just not what that game is, and I feel like maybe Atomic Heart 2 will just like hardcore lean into that.
God, I hope not.
We need
it's not going to get better. Like they've got a specific combat model, and I think they're wedded to it, and I think that combat model is really bad. But
we need like a goons per second meter, like a GPS, so that we know like how goony a game is, and that
like,
would barely even be a blip.
Low, and I bet you're going to lean into it for the sequel.
Exactly. It's going to double the GPS for sure.
Yeah, I'm not
it's
happy.
just
like a horny question about Atomic Heart. Like, okay, Atomic Heart 2 existed, makes sense. An MMO spin-off.
That is
bold. That is so presumptuous.
And let me tell you, I feel like Destiny kind of cornered the market on giant thing floating in the sky, and then that was kind of
I thought it was gonna be a video game adaptation of the movie Cube, and I was excited. And then it's like, that's not what this is. What the hell?
Comic universe is, I think, one of the funniest terms to come out of SGF.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Meanwhile, Peter Molyneux is probably there, like, shedding a single tear. Maybe one Cube game can survive.
It wasn't Godus, that's for sure.
I think
Atomic
that actually
universe. It has a whole one game in it.
Oh, sorry.
I can't believe they said that. Anyway.
Well, actually, sorry, I apologize for interrupting. I do think that this is tied to these other issues we've been talking about, though, because, like, this is the attempt to create a shared universe, a franchise,
Mhm.
a metaverse. Like, this is the other part of the issue. It's all of these. This is another form of weird trend chasing, and it's increasingly exhausting. I like jumping from a single player RPG into an MMO is bad, and I don't think the game will survive. I'm not sure the company will survive. Um, but also it's just kind of this very natural thing of like this is an industry that's increasingly obsessed with hyper consolidation and hyper like brand singularity. So why wouldn't we turn our successful game into a gigantic forever game?
Yeah.
It's
One thing too that I don't even think this game plays to their strengths. Weirdly, it feels just like something they're chasing, and I don't know why. Because of the good stuff Atomic Heart did, I don't know that a complicated loot system and shooter cover system is going to be what that's going to do good.
Yeah,
The-
I mean,
Like what Atomic Heart did very well was its art direction, and world design,
Yeah.
and maybe
Pitch
that's
perfect.
enough to sustain an MMO. But
Yeah.
they have not displayed that they understand what makes a compelling gameplay loop. And that's really
Yeah.
the core of what makes an MMO, because you need people to keep coming back and coming back for it.
Like,
Yeah. There are a couple of other things that I wanted to bring up regarding SGF, and this has been the subject of a lot of discourse. Jeff Keighley kept emphasizing small teams and solo developers. There's one particularly ridiculous instance of him saying a solo developer and 9 of his friends, which is just the most hilarious turn of phrase I've ever heard. And while I think people are going a little bit too far with the criticism and essentially lying about how like small teams work and saying that, oh, these teams are just hiring up contractors and they're effectively the same size as a AAA team. No, that's not how it works. They're not that size. These projects are of a very different scope. But at the same time, so much of game development relies on contractors, on hired work, etc. And when we overemphasize the solo dev narrative, we really do a disservice to the people who are actually building these things. And it's really demoralizing to see Jeff Keighley perpetuate that myth.
Yeah.
And
And
it really,
we're at a time
oh,
where
you
there's
guys go.
we're at a time where there's an extremely increased usage of contractors and co-developers, and that makes sense for where AAA is. That's just kind of a necessity, but it's coming in part and parcel with, oh, these are also the team members who are easier to exploit, who are getting paid less and credited less, and all these things, and this trying to emphasize the small core teams is contributing to those issues.
And
Absolutely, yeah.
on that same thing, part of why they like can now pull in contractors a lot is that like it's just every week there's another, hey, this studio laid off a bunch of people, this studio lost all these people, this studio shut down. And so whenever Jeff's being like, hey, a small team did this, it really feels like he did at one of his things actually address the layoffs. I remember, but like one of the like I think last year at some point he actually did say something.
I think it was at the Game
Awards.
Yeah.
I found that disingenuous for a lot of reasons.
Oh, it's still it's disingenuous, but it is still admitting it. Kind of like how with talking about Marathon, how like Sony is not going to say, hey, we have to redo art because we stole it. They're going to say we want to refine stuff to better meet player expectations because that's PR talk. But then we get this sort of like nice shit of paint on it of like, and look, a small team can still make great things. Don't worry about the fact that like people are losing their jobs and stuff. Like it's actually, this industry is fine actually.
And to bring us back to one Timothy Sweeney, it also launders the like attempt to push using AI generation to replace game developers.
It has the same vibe as like, the 2010s like marketing push for like towards self-care. Like, no, we're going to take a systemic we're going to take a broad systemic problem and we're going to individualize it. No, you can do it. You can fix it. You and a group of your friends can overcome and it's so fucking disingenuous to frame it that way.
And it's like it's
making it
really
your responsibility.
he did this before as well. Like this was actually I remember because it bugged me last year at SGF. There was that like it was like a prison break game playing as teddy bears. It's like an online thing, and he said like it's made by one guy, the solo dev of Choo Charles, the like one like scary train game.
Thing.
But it's like, well, hang on. You just said one guy made this game, but it's like a co-op thing? Like already you've got a problem there because there's no way that one guy made a co-op.
You need at least one other tester.
Right? Exactly. And again he said this last year and it was like, but then this year like it really did feel like right down to whenever he started off with the like infographic of like, here are the top 10 best-selling games on Steam. And it's like, these small ones even made it up there, proving that anyone can do it. And
there's a way for him to make that point without, like, denigrating or devaluing the work of contractors. Like, yes, these are smaller scoped games. These are lower budget games that are reaching the top of the charts. And that is a point worth making. But what is not worth doing and what really is galling to me is like disguising all the other work that went in or like devaluing testing as actual development, things like that is the message being conveyed by Jeff Keighley and SGF, and that's what really bothers me.
My take on this is that it really at times and increasingly by the end kind of felt like he was using this as a shield, like a combination of basically like a combination of, yes, you see the industry is completely collapsing, but look, these small indie devs can do it entirely. The industry's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. But then the other half feels like, I'm going to promote these indie games, this indie side, because I know that all of you are going to be pissed that I don't have a magical laundry list of big AAA games you're going to actually like or even play ever. It felt very like simultaneously a distraction and a attempt to use them as a deflection. And maybe it's because of a certain other event I think we're about to talk about that is making me feel very uncharitable to Jeff right now.
So what I'll say about this is like I've never doubt Jeff Keighley's love of video games, even indie games. Like I do not doubt that the man loves the medium, cares about indie games. The man very clearly cares about games press in a way that a lot of other like promo people do not. But he's also running a business, and the business incentives sometimes are going to lead him and his company to, let's say, adopt more cynical strategies, like exactly the kind of thing Wolfman's pointing out, which is, yes, this year we want the indies because Jeff likes the indies, but also we can kind of kill two birds with one stone and make it look like we have a lot of content, even though we're only really getting AA stuff and have to finance this with gacha ads. And
he's passing down the rhetoric that game publishers are getting started first. Partners, you know?
Yeah.
And
but let's get actually into, I think, the thing that caused the most controversy coming out of SGF, who's being referred to now as, let's say, Hat Guy. So he came out with a hat. I think it said either make FPS great again or make first-person shooters great again.
It was FPS.
The developer of Splitgate 2, or the creative director, I believe, on Splitgate 2. I forget his name. He's just Hat Guy now. And there are two angles to this. Let's start with, I guess, the non-political angle and then go to the political angle. The non-political angle is, you wouldn't be saying make FPS is great again if you were following the medium, like, at all, even before we get to the indie stuff. Like, going out there and saying, are you tired of the same old COD? The year after the COD that was really not the same old COD came out, the one that everyone liked, is a pretty bold thing to say. And then like shitting on Halo when Halo is like mechanically the best it's ever been.
Halo Infinite
Again,
was good.
stupid.
Look, just because the live stuff on it lost money does not mean Halo Infinite was not a good game.
Yeah,
Infinite
that
was a
game
good
rules.
fucking
I'm
game.
sorry. Like
Yeah.
mechanically, it's so good. You should be proud to be compared to Halo mechanically at this point. And then you get into the indie scene and think of all the amazing kick-ass first-person shooters from the indie scene that have been released in the past few years, like Neon White, Iron Beast, Ultra Kill, Mullet Magic, Echo Point Nova, Sulaco. The list goes on and on. These games are out there kicking ass and showing how it's done. Do you not?
And
Super hot.
there's still more. Like
There's more. Like that's just a
there's more
short
on the
list.
there's more on the horizon. There's more on the horizon as well. There's still
Yeah,
coming.
and then like if you're willing to
what,
go to the
girly
double A
pop?
space, there's boomer shooter revivals like Bolt Gun that are also really warmly received.
Yep.
Yeah,
Devil
shitting on
Daggers.
Thriving right now. Make
Shitting on
FPS
the
great
FPS
again
is
is something an
absolutely
idiot
bad luck.
would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Even if it was more true, it's just fucking mean spirited. And like
Yeah, it is. Like,
developers
stop
are human beings. Like
the just trying to like look. Oh, I'm sure that not every single developer in the world doesn't like some games. There is no one on earth who doesn't dislike some games, even Keeley. Like,
Mhm.
but this is supposed to be, you know, a somewhat euphoric event. This doesn't mean you can't talk about serious subjects, and honestly, we probably should at these events more, but actively trying to like be an ankle biter, and this is what this guy is doing. Like
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
like he is trying so and I think, yeah, like the hat is ultimately just the most blatant and most pathetic attempt I've seen in a long time of trying to court controversy. This is the like this is like the attempt at doing like your bog standard you commit war crimes in a Call of Duty game controversy. It's so blatant and it's so insincere and it's also just not gonna work.
So
Like,
here's the other thing. It's not that original. I don't know if anybody watched the NFL draft, but Clay Matthews basically did this exact joke at the beginning
Yeah.
of the NFL draft, and everybody hated it there too. So it's kind of weird that
we've
that
all
got
seen one of
recycled.
these fucking parody hats at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah.
I go around my city and half the time when I see someone with a hat like that, it's a real Baga hat, and the other half of the time it's someone wearing a parody hat, and the parody hat gives me a panic attack too, guys.
Yeah, because
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it evokes the exact same like it has the same fucking what's the word I'm thinking? It has the same feeling, you know, like
Yeah.
It's an inherently misconceived idea, and
same valence. There we go.
we all
Well,
went through this shit fucking 4 years ago. But like, why are we still doing this?
Well, and then
Yeah.
also like in particular, like as a modern thing, like for this, like the like color and stuff of it mirrored like Elon Musk's personal one that he's like worn, like whenever he's like he'll be like
he's got the
standing in the
black hat.
back of like press conf. Yeah, he has the black one and stuff with
Really
like gray.
sucks that black and red baseball caps have gotten ruined.
Yeah, and it's like
But
this
he's-
is so then he's like, so it's like not only are you aping this thing, but you're aping like again maybe the part that because like Trump himself has nothing to do with gamers. Like he doesn't even know what he probably thinks that he probably would if you told him games aren't Pac-Man anymore, he'd be like, wow, this is the first I'm hearing of this. Like this is just what he would do. But meanwhile Musk has been like so ingrained in like this the right-wing troll aspect and stuff.
He
It's like
is
how could you not know this?
yeah, he's desperately deeply in gamer culture in the most toxic of ways, but like look, we all like everyone here, everyone watching this knows that he cheats, and we know that the game he cheats on are Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4. Like we specifically know those. Like this is not you're not neutral when you do the hat. It's
Yeah.
It is the behavior of this is the kind of thing. It is the behavior of somebody who does not have the experience of having a part of their identity be politicized like by other people. Like
Yes.
that's what
Yes.
this is. Like because if you have an identity, marginalized or otherwise, that has been inherently politicized by people outside of the scope of your control, you have more than anyone else, you have a very keen awareness of the fact that of what it means when someone says everything is political. They can try to get away from it as much as they fucking want to, but if they continue to do stuff like this, like when people say everything is political, wearing shit like this is what we mean. It evokes a very, very specific feeling. It evokes a specific mindset. It evokes a very specific, like, just lack of understanding or care about, like, the tone and just learning to read the fucking room. Like, you were talking to an audience of people who, like, actually, I mean, it's mostly gaming press, so I don't know. But, like, the people who are, like, it is just a lack of respect for, like, the people who are watching this very stream and stuff. And you're just refusing to, not only refusing to acknowledge the thing happening a block away, but you're refusing to acknowledge the thing that, you know, a lot of these audience members, probably their family members, are going through and experiencing. And then on top of that, you're doing the opposite of going out of your way to antagonize them. Like, why? Why the fuck are you doing this?
And on that, like, also, like everything is political, of, again, using that rhetoric, using the same rhetoric. Both rhetorics are very flawed in that, like, whenever they are saying great again, there's a level of what is said by again, which implies a return to something. And, like, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
We talked about this. We talked about this earlier with the gooning stuff of, like, gaming culture was bad. It was very bad, as a matter of fact. Like sometimes you look back and it's like we mentioned Ivy, and I think of other fighting game characters, and how, like, basically all the fighting games would have this whole cast of, like, cool male characters, and then it would have, like, two girls, both of whom were, like, very sexy. You'd have Sonya Blade and Michaela and Melina in Mortal Kombat. You had Chun-Li and Cammy.
Chun-Li and Cammy, you know, Mai Shiranui and Mary Blue, and but only two. And I mean, but the
because
thing,
this is for boys, and so it's like so then it's like you're saying bring it back to the culture it used to be, and it's like you can't simply say I want to make games like they were in the past without also acknowledging that the culture that made those games, like, sucked. Like, it just did.
It also no longer exists. You can't snap your fingers and be back there.
No.
Like, it's not.
Nothing will make in 1996.
Gaming culture evolved organically to a large degree,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't, like, push back against that organic evolution and just end up in 1998 where there are titty ads in magazines again. Like, that's just not where we are and not where we're going.
I would also, like, the best of the, like, quote-unquote nostalgic games, the, like, retro games of the day, like, the best ones are games that could never have been made back then. Like, Shovel Knight's design, Shredder's Revenge's, like, focus on accessibility options, Animal Well's basically everything. Like, these are things that... Sorry.
That I was going to say, the pixel art alone in a lot of those, like, you literally wouldn't have been able to fit all those sprites on, like, the NES.
Yeah, or the use of color palettes and stuff. Yeah.
And so stuff like that, then it's like, hey, we can do this, like, now. And
UFO 50 was an entire game about stuff we couldn't actually do back then, but it kind of felt like we maybe could have done it back then.
No part of the messages that he's sending with this are good or justified.
You know, and I actually I actually
Yeah.
liked Splitgate 1. I thought it was a pretty fun game, but let's be honest, it's Portal. It's Portal with a shooter on top of it. It's not like it, you know,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
broke
that's
my
what it's
brain
so
playing it.
funny. It's so funny to say Titanfall 3. Dude, you're not making Titanfall. You're making
Nobody's
Halo
picking
plus
Titanfall
Portal.
anymore.
Yeah, get real, dude. Come on.
The
Now,
I also
Go ahead.
Sorry,
I
I
played
just-
a demo. I was just gonna throw out a dumb recommend. If I played a demo for Next Fest for Jet Runner, which feels like Titanfall 2 meets Neon White, so like I highly recommend checking that out.
And
very
you
That's
have
just
to
making
play at the
it-
point though. That's
but
the
even then,
point.
it still
You are
doesn't
going
have the
to
mech
go
thing. It doesn't have
full
the
to go
mech
for
thing,
it.
so it's like, but like,
I wanted to get to the fact that he admitted that he wore it because it would make sure people remembered his game.
Oh, for
Which it won't.
fuck's sake.
did
people
he?
remember. Yeah, he
Oh
did.
my God.
This was
he-
the idea. This is what he says publicly. We can be, skeptical if we want, but this is what he says. Like, this was my marketing department's idea.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know, bro.
The-
Fire your marketing
Because I did
department.
watch his.
Yeah,
one
for
video.
real. Like,
Well,
the
that doesn't make
speaking
it.
of
That does not make it better.
it also, yeah, you're now again. He's using them as a shield. Like
And-
he's
no,
literally.
he did try to take personal blame for it too. Look, I'm not
But
I'm not planning to defend the guy, obviously, but I just want to be clear about what the interview said.
At
Okay,
the end
no.
of the day, like I honestly
journalist.
don't know what this guy's politics are, but
The-
it doesn't matter given
And
what
the
he
apology.
did.
Yeah, like there was no good reason to do this, and that was honestly, it would have bothered me less if he was a sincere reactionary than for doing it for the most cynical reason possible.
Well,
It's-
and also
yeah.
then it's like he in that apology, like probably said you can't untangle this. That in his apology thing, he basically said, "I'm sorry I wore the hat, but I stand by the message of the hat."
Right.
And it's like,
Message of the hat is
He's
also
standing
stupid.
by a lot of his own ugliness.
it's
Yeah.
like, dude, like,
I think video
The-
games should go back to where we eliminate almost 60% of our player base. That's what I think. And I
Yeah.
stand by that.
The other also, as much as I dislike this guy, ultimately I think I hate Keeley more because he and the staff, because there are dozens of people who work backstage. There is absolutely no
So
way
many
that
people
they
signed
did not.
off.
Oh,
He didn't pop
one
this
of them should
on
have
as a
flicked off the
surprise.
hat and been like, "Dude, you're not going on stage with that."
So many people
Yeah.
let this happen. So
Hell, they
many
should have just
multiple
they
people
could have
could've
just let him
prevented
think he was gonna keep the hat, and then at the last minute just like snapped it off his head, and they're like, "Go, go, 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 go! Come on, you only got a couple minutes. Go, 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 go!" And then just like toss it in the bin or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
So-
it's
To tie this into the broader events of what was happening during SGF, I think I'm the only person here who's lived in Los Angeles, right?
I
So
can't
I've lived-
claim to have lived there for very long. So you definitely lived there. Yeah. As
Yeah.
more.
Oh, you have lived there, Bones? Oh
Yeah, I did for a
Oh
little
yeah,
while.
when you were younger, right?
Yes, yeah, I was really
Okay,
young.
yeah. So I lived there for about 2 years, during the first Trump administration. And I lived through an E3 in the city. I lived through also ice raids in my neighborhood, when I was living there. And I was living there as a foreign citizen who was there on a work visa, who was non-white. And it does, like, what happens when that sort of thing happens is that a climate of fear descends upon pretty much the entire city. If you know that you're going to potentially be like targeted by ICE for looking out of place and not being a citizen, despite the fact that I was there fully legally on a work visa, it changes the way that you kind of interact with the world. Like, you start taking your passport with you and your visa papers with you wherever you go, just in case something goes awry. You tend to stay in your apartment more. And that is the climate of fear that people were protesting against, and then the militarized response to it that was happening during SGF. It's kind of an attempt to fight back against that fear and say, we're not going to let our city be ruled by the kind of fear that that discriminates and divides us. Like we're a city, we defend our own, and we don't want to give into that. And like, how do I put this? Like seeing all like that make blah 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 great again hat juxtaposed against a response to ice raids. Like, yes, Hat Guy couldn't have known that that was going to happen, but at the same time,
He probably could
kind of has to live with the
Yeah.
consequences of that.
Yeah.
Now that now that it's happening and these things kind of can't be disentangled from each other, and it did end up affecting SGF directly. Like, there are devs who chose not to fly to the United States because they were afraid of ending up in some ice holding facility just because maybe their papers were slightly out of order, or maybe they looked a little too brown. Who knows? One of the most like infuriating stories that I heard coming out of SGF, this came out in a Remap radio interview with the devs of Relooted, which we're going to talk about a little later, was that team has, I think, one white guy who's one of the creative directors, and the rest it's all like Black African people working on it. And the Black South African developers who were going to fly to SGF to show off their game all had their visas denied. So they couldn't even travel to SGF to show that off. So now you have this event that is directly impacted by the policies of the Trump administration. And someone comes up on stage with a hat that evokes like a particular valence and a particular kind of ideology. Like, now you're in the shit. Like, SGF has unwittingly taken a side.
I don't even know
And
about
now
unwittingly.
not commenting on it makes everything worse. Like, at some point, if they don't say something now, I don't know what Jeff Keighley actually believes. I'm not going to speculate. I frankly don't think he cares. I frankly don't think it matters. But now the silence is deafening because they have implicated themselves. So, yeah.
We should have never
Anyway.
had to see these fucking things again. Like,
Sorry.
Yeah.
we should have never had to see these fucking things again. We had
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
long. We had so long. People yelled at Kojima a long time ago for wearing one, and in the first term, like,
Yeah, and
we
he
should-
hasn't worn one
no,
since.
Yeah,
no,
like,
even-
Kojima,
no,
for
that was
many,
an
many,
old
many
picture.
faults, at least responds to... Like, if someone says, Kojima, don't do that because this is bad, Kojima's going to stop doing it.
Yeah.
He did.
But, like...
Yeah. But that old picture kept getting reposted, and it was a whole thing.
That's disingenuous, right? Like, that
Yeah,
was
it's-
just one.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't help anyone to do that shit. But yeah, I just, it's not hard to shock me anymore, but I was really shocked to see that because I just didn't think anyone who had not just lived through everything that happened before the re-election, but had seen everything that happened since the re-election.
Yeah.
You had so much time and so many people, and you still went through with this fucking thing.
Even just from a vibes perspective, right? Like, why? Why would
it's
you
just-
even?
Just
You
makes
know?
everyone feel bad. It's not going to help you sell your fucking game. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
The
The-
most. Oh, sorry. Go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to say that literally, like, the Mind's Eye people who were also at the event and have just had their disastrous launch of their show probably should be very happy that at least this asshole came out, because not all of the vitriol is on
Yeah,
be
they're not
directed
the
at them.
highest profile controversy of the month.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to another show.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about some friendlier things, particularly
Yeah.
Day of the Devs, after a short break. So stay tuned while we go to the bathroom. Welcome back to the Avocado Games Cast. I'm here with the Kappa, Quinley Thorne, Lily Bones, Wolfman Jew, and Bloomed Wings talking about SGF and all the shows surrounding it. Let's talk about Day of the Devs, which I think was kind of a necessary palate cleanser after the SGF main show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I I just
Go
got
ahead.
so bummed out after SGF. I
And
couldn't.
then-
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
a lot
then
of them
come-
look cool, but
I watched it a while after because I was like, no matter how good it is, I cannot just watch more games marketing right now. I can't.
it's at a certain point your eyeballs start to bleed, right? You're just like, oh my god, I can't.
I
take care
have
of this.
actually doing like news roundup shit this month. I've had multiple occasions where my eyes got dry from looking at my laptop for too long without blinking.
Yeah, our official
But
tiers, my
not
friend.
exaggeration.
Yeah, get that refresh or that sustain in there.
Anyway, yeah, Day of the Devs is really good. This was a really strong lineup. It was a lot of known quantities, which is not shocking given the state of indie funding. So that's its own form of industry depression, but nonetheless, a lot of really promising stuff.
The one I really wanted to shout out was Relooted, which
Yes,
has, I think, one of the coolest premises of any game that got shown off in any of these showcases.
Yeah.
The idea is that
Apart-
you're playing as a group of African heist specialists who are taking artifacts back from museums that stole them from their original cultures.
Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically the middle finger to the British Museum, the game. And like the art style they showed off was really neat. Has a really cool like premise and idea. Like you're actually planning out the heist and then executing it. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what that turns out to be.
So
Totally.
yeah, and
I will say the other heist game, Snap and Grab's gameplay captured me a little more immediately. But
Kappa,
But I was gonna say the other one.
Reloaded visuals and concept is top tier.
So
Yeah, Kill Simulator.
What was the
also
other one?
Thick as Thieves. I thought
Oh,
Thick as
yeah,
Thieves
yeah.
looked really cool.
yeah,
I wasn't talking about Thick as Thieves. I was talking about Snap and Grab.
Yeah. I just meant that there was like 3 like back to back to back as
Yeah,
far as
that's
like
cool.
the heist games went.
Yeah,
Thick and Thieves
definitely,
is the multiplayer
Warren
immersive sim from Warren Spector's studio,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
I'm skeptical but also very intrigued.
in
It's-
general, I'm pretty skeptical of most multiplayer games now. Not less creatively and more optimistically speaking.
so
But
also to go. Oh, no, sorry, you fished.
literally all I was going to say. Oh, it's no problem. Sorry about that. All I was just going to say was just it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Reload is super awesome. I
but-
have to shout out. Sorry.
Oh, Relooted
I'm the
like
time
the.
children.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But
allowed.
yeah, Relooted. Also, like it's coming from a studio who did Semblance in the past, which was a 2D platformer where you could do things like, for example, you could jump underneath a platform and you would sort of headbutt it up, which would change the level. That was like the whole concept was like you'd get into the room, there's no you can't beat the level, but then you like do things to adjust it to make the level be beatable. And it was a very like there were a lot of these platformers at the time that like were not necessarily like didn't have narrative hooks or anything. I feel like it's one of those things that really helped Celeste break out was that not only did that have a ton of cool mechanics, but it was also like very narrative heavy. But Semblance still had the whole like set up the level and then execute it. And it's very neat to see them pulling that into here where it's first you go in and you can like move boxes, you can adjust doors, open air vents, whatever, and like with the expectation that whenever you steal the thing, you're going to have to run out through the level that you've sort of created. And like, I think that that's just a very neat thing to see this very basic indie game that like I full on like I wasn't like thinking about Semblance at all until they said, hey, we're this team, the makers of Semblance. And I was like, oh heck yeah, like here we are again. Like I'm glad that you're back. 'Cause,
I hadn't heard of Semblance, so thank you so much for sharing that.
yeah.
I am contractually obligated to shout out Dosa Divas, the spiritual successor to Thirsty Suitors, a game
Yep.
I simply adore. I don't have the budget for a lot of day one games. I kind of alluded to that earlier. Dosa Divas, like I will move mountains to buy that game
Oh,
as soon as possible. The new game from the Goose Game guys, Big Walk, looks fun. I'll be playing that with my wife for sure. I feel bad for the Rataton guys. Like
That game looks so cool, though.
Yeah, it looks good. It definitely looks good, but they've been building their thing up for so long, and then Sony announces a Patapon remix.
Yeah.
It's a bit
It's a little shame.
pardon me, but
It's, genuinely one of those things where it would have been hard to foresee this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
know
I mean, at the same time, it's like, oh wow, 2 Patapons.
Yeah.
Not knowing that much about Pataton, I assume it's different. It's got its own details, which I think will at least help.
One game I haven't heard anybody mention, and I feel like somehow it's going to stay that way, even though we're the target demographic, is mixtape. I feel like that one's kind of like struck out somehow with a lot of people.
That's
I know.
that's the one that had like that doesn't actually know like what era's music actually came out in.
The
Okay.
80s and 90s are all just the same time period, and
Yeah,
I
that all
think
happened at the same time.
I
Okay,
said
now
that.
to be fair,
the guys that made mixtape, so I'll shut up. Go on.
to be fair to them on that, with like the concept is like you are listening to a mixtape, and I think of like how we every time that you go through a decade, you also have a lot of hits from like the next one sticking over, especially if like maybe your parents like sit down to you or whatever. Like I think of how for me being a teen in the 2000s, that still you had a lot of 90s Green Day, you still had 90s Blink-182, like those would just be on your like shuffle and mixtapes and stuff. And
Well, I think the thing is, it's like the opposite. I think the game's supposed to be set in the 80s, and there's a lot of 90s music on there. So yeah.
Oh well, then
It
never
feels-
mind.
It feels like a mixtape that was curated by Clear Channel, if that
Okay,
makes sense.
okay,
It's like
but
it's like listening
now-
to Clear Channel radio.
now to go again, that the premise though is you are like in the future listening to this mixtape, and it's recalling all the memories of the past. So I don't know that necessarily like it can still make sense within the thing. If it's set in the 80s, you could still be a person listening to 90 songs.
Memory conflating thing. That could be interesting, but these guys made a very bad game.
You could give the benefit of the doubt. Like, here's the funny thing: it's like based off like people playing it at play days, it was one of the most warmly received games. So maybe it's fun to play. I don't actually know.
It didn't look there was much like it looked like the little like skate light maybe. I didn't really get a feel for too much of what was going on in the gameplay besides like a don't nod style.
But
Yeah, if I want don't nod style games, I play a don't nod game, right? Like
exactly, yeah.
There has to be
100%.
something more to it.
I'm probably gonna be playing Tell Me Why again, saying, God, that game rules.
If I'm gonna get one, it's gonna be Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Like I've heard enough about.
Yeah, I'll probably check that one out.
I've heard a lot of mixed things about it, but I'm so intrigued as to what it's about.
Definitely interesting.
See, the main thing I heard was like I've heard a lot of mixed things, including a lot of negative, but the ones that I heard that were more interesting and glowing are people who align with my tastes a lot more, and partially because of gender identity and stuff, like things like that. So it's like, it's different to hear, it's different to hear, it's different to hear, like shout, like we love the guy, but like Patrick Klepek is a 40-year-old white cis man. Like this is So whenever he's saying I didn't like it, it didn't do anything for me, there's a level of like, okay, well, I don't know that necessarily we're going to be compatible on narrative on how we feel about narrative.
Unless
Sometimes
you're not blank without being without saying that you're not blank. Basically, it's that meme.
Yeah.
sometimes art is made with specific audiences in mind. Shout out, I saw the TV glow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
want a couple more. God bless us, squares. I want to specifically shout out while I can. Possessors is a side-scrolling Metroidvania by the Heart Machine, the Hyperlight Drifter guys. That looked pretty promising. It stood out to me as someone who sees a lot of those kinds of games. I also want to shout out. Please watch the artwork, which is pitched as a spot the difference puzzle game with psychological horror tones.
Oh,
It's,
that one looks
It's getting
sick.
home safety
That-
hotline vibes.
that was intriguing. That was intriguing.
I think what most made that one interesting to me is how it is very focused on a specific artist. That it's not like, oh, like, and then you're gonna see all the paintings that you know already. Like, there's, but it is all like it's an entire gallery of one artist. I think it might be one style or one time, but either way, like it's focused on this specific thing, and like I'm gonna get the name right.
Was that a real artist? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
dumb
'cause,
for
like,
asking.
not-
Okay, because I didn't know if it was like something for the game that they created, and it was like kind of like lampshading it, being like, oh yeah, there's this one artist, and then, they start finding all this weird stuff. I didn't know
Edward
actually.
Hopper is real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because it has
Nighthawk's guy.
Nighthawks was one of the ones in the trailer and stuff and such, and
Yeah.
they might
Yeah,
they might have
I don't know a
added
lot
some.
about
They
art,
might
so-
have made up some for it. Like I'm not,
Mm.
haven't played it, and also like I don't even know. Like I don't have all of his artwork in my head or anything, but like
A big part of Thomas Waterzui's games is that they're about showcasing real art and giving them exposure to people that haven't gotten the chance to enjoy them in person.
Like the first game they did was very Mondrian inspired.
Mhm.
I don't know what Please Touch the Artwork 2 was like, but yeah, they're really about showing off actual art and kind of remixing it in really interesting ways. The one game that I wanted to shout out was Consume Me.
yeah.
That's a sim RPG about being a teenage girl and trying to manage things like hunger and emotions and stuff like that. Looked really
Yeah.
neat. Had an interesting sense of humor behind it, and the social media, like it's being done by the developers themselves, so it's very shit posty and very funny. So having a ball with that. Anything else you want to shout out? So go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of promising stuff.
Yeah, there is two more entries in the go fast across big areas games. We have the Sonic Frontiers like Tire Boy and the Solar Ash like Sword of the Sea.
Yeah, the sword surfing thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of those
So
just
originally I thought it was just like a bad mashup of Abzu and Journey, but apparently there's like a whole really like mechanically deep movement and trick system in there. And apparently there's even like a trick counter like running under the hood that's calculating a score as you like travel through the world and discover secrets, which
Well, that's actually much cooler. I think they should have put that in the demo though, because that looked like you said.
We're getting a lot of skateboard adjacent games right now.
Well, yeah,
because
I
all
mean,
the
the
kids
thing
who
is-
grew up skateboarding in the 90s are now making video games.
Yeah,
With
Ots
the,
Revival is in full swing. Tony Hawk is back, baby. That's what
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Is back, baby.
Oh man, that hurt to see him being as old as he is. Not in a bad way for him, but just like, you know what I mean? That whole like,
But just
oh
like,
boy.
oh no, he's old. He
Yeah,
can't do
like-
the thing anymore.
Even when he was old, he looked young, but now finally I was like, yep, it caught up to him, and I felt bad for that.
It's all those
Kinda hit
years
me
of
hard.
being. It's all those years of being like, hey, wow, you look like Tony Hawk. It's just
Yeah.
that war that took a toll.
Exactly. Yeah. There's
My-
a Dorian Gray picture somewhere.
Tony Hawk when he was in Rocket
All
Power.
about skateboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm curious if like Sword of the Sea will be like, given the track record, I imagine it will be a very sort of, hey, you went through and you had this atmosphere, and the journey was the story, like thing,
Mhm.
like of like, oh, this there is no like,
Maybe it
I
can
don't
be
know,
that,
there's
but also it's about doing sick tricks.
exactly.
Yeah, it very
And
speaking of like journey, it very much struck me as a journey like game. Like that was the first game I thought. I'm like, oh, it's another
Yeah,
one of
same.
these.
Yeah,
Those
until the,
guys, yeah, they make that kind of game over and over, and you
Yeah.
know that it is what it is. It beats what the actual Journey guy is doing.
Oh no. Do we want to
Oh,
know?
is it like
oh,
it's
was that
is it MMO
MMO?
shit or NFT shit
Yeah.
or both?
It
Oh,
was
that thing.
it was the MMO
Oh,
one, right? Like where
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
supposed to be a
live
nice MMO or whatever, like a non-violent one or something.
Yeah, it's a pleasant live service MMO with very weird random crossovers. But a lot
They
of
already
Microsoft.
made a non-violent MMO.
I-
It was called Club Penguin.
I was
Goddamn
well
right.
also.
I love
That one
Club
had
I mean, I feel like that's taking like maybe the one of the more interesting ideas of Journey, that it's sort of a weird cooperative
multiplayer.
online game, but that's basically in the background and doesn't have to actually like impact what you're doing, and just taking it in such a weird direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Well,
the
we'll let
online's cool.
Janova-chan do what he's gonna do. So next up is the Xbox Games Showcase. And before we dive in, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention this. Like, we're still going to discuss the game showcase, but I do have to mention that Xbox's parent company, Microsoft, has been providing cloud computing and AI services to the Israeli military and assisting thereby in the ongoing genocide of the Palestinian people. And yes, it is undeniably genocide. We're not going to shy away from calling it that. And so while Phil Spencer's clearly not like signing off on bombs and it's not directly implicating Microsoft Gaming, Microsoft Gaming has been listed as a BDS target. So we're still going to discuss Showcase, but we understand if listeners would rather skip this discussion, and they can do so following the timestamps listed in the episode's link dump.
Yeah. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Merve. Yeah. I've been
So let's go ahead. Sorry.
All I just wanted to mention is that we are not like judgmental people necessarily about like what you choose to consume, but and I also don't want to speak for everyone, but I do think it's worth for you listeners to consider reevaluating or reconsidering your relationship with Microsoft as an Xbox commercially. Like I'm doing I'm doing something. I'm not saying I'm not telling you what to do, but I do think it's really worth considering and thinking about where your money is going.
thank you much.
That's all I just wanted to say. Sorry.
All right. With that in mind, let's dive into the showcase. There are a lot of interesting things shown off here. We were mentioning Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, which got kind of a big good trailer here. What are some of the other highlights for you folks? I have a whole bunch listed here, but I'm interested.
Yeah,
to hear
this is
what
gonna
you
be
think.
awkward because I
Yeah.
pretty much love this entire show. Honestly, I thought this is like hit after hit, like just nothing but stuff that I was really interested in. I thought maybe Clockwork Revolution. I walked away from being that one looked really good. I wasn't sure after the first announcement where it was going with it, but Clockwork Revolution looked awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one, I have that one down too. Like that was one at the very least I'm like, okay,
Well, because
okay.
I think
Like
the
let's
first,
see what you do. Let's see where you
yeah,
go with it. Like
Yeah,
it just the world looks really, really well fleshed out and just lived in. It like and I'm like, I'll spend some time there. That looks cool.
didn't you like? At least I did thought. I thought this is gonna be like a BioShock kind of like retread or something. But then when I started to
Yeah.
see what they were actually doing, I was like, oh, this is not BioShock. They're going for a very different feeling here.
It
And
felt
that
I immediately was like, okay, I'm seeing BioShock Infinite. I'm seeing a bit of Dishonored in there as well. So
Yeah.
like for people who want more of that, then yeah, this is a pretty good start.
Yeah, the other thing I thought about that trailer was it was the perfect length. Like 5 minutes is a sweet spot. You get a feel for the
Yeah.
game, the world, everything.
Mm.
And I wish more people walked away from that being like, yeah, these 30-second things that are just a logo, I don't even know if it's worth it when,
It had
Well,
it
people are
yeah.
had
like,
a
yeah,
lot
we'll
of
wait
work.
and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be the outlier on this. I was less impressed than I expected to be because
You're not alone.
I really hated the tone of
Me
like the
too.
dialogue and the plot. It felt so smug and kind of smarmy. And it's a shame
I got
because what they showed off in terms of RPG mechanics, it being like an actually deep action RPG with dialogue options and branching narrative and all that fun stuff, which is really what I want to see, was kind of marred by that tone. So I'm not uninterested in it going forward. They're going to need to show something that doesn't look like it's just steampunk Outer Worlds. They're going to need to show me something a little different for me to be fully on board. But I'm very excited that they are making something that is like a genuine, fully fleshed out RPG with deep RPG mechanics.
Yeah.
The mechanics were definitely attractive. I totally don't blame you for the tone. It didn't stand out to me, but I see where you're coming from for sure.
I thought the tone was going for maybe like Guy Ritchie, like early Guy Ritchie. Do you know what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, I can see
And
that for
that's
sure.
why I kind
Yeah.
of like forgive it a little bit because I think that is like I don't know, like a well-worn, area that you can do if you can nail it. And then, the characters, I don't know that you're going to be able to I don't know that you're going to have to role play as that type of guy throughout the game, or if that was just the narrative that they were going for the trailer. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, like I if I go to play as a character from Snatch, I want to play as Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to be someone just completely out to lunch. So you had a bunch of other highlights you wanted to mention, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I really liked Blood of the Dawnwalker. I've been jonesing for a return to like the Legacy of Kain series. That like weird
Mm.
vampire world where everything feels like just slightly off. It's our world, but the vampires run it type stuff. I got a lot of that from that Blood of the Dawnwalker. I really like Legacy of Kain kind of throwback feel to it. Where like the human are the cattle and the vampires run everything, and you're kind of like a resistance of against vampires. I think that's a really cool, like, I don't know, at this point maybe it's a little bit old, but I love Legacy of Kain, and that was like my secret like hope that somewhere it would be rebooted and not as a, was it a MOBA? Or it's like a battle
Oh, God.
royale. So not as a battle royale, an actual game I can play. But yeah, I like that one. Mudong I thought looked really cool. I think a lot of times, like, especially now, like I think I'm guilty of it, but I think maybe everybody, but you kind of just blend in, like, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, like output, I guess, right? And then this one felt so very like specifically Korean to me that I don't know that I really felt like that, watching a lot of those types of shooters, where this really feels like it's addressing like the worries and stuff that Korea feels about, being at war forever. So I really thought that was pretty cool. And then no ghosts at the Grand.
Oh,
this,
yes, this.
this could
I
either be amazing or dog shit. I have no idea.
I fucking hated that trailer.
Oh,
It
really?
was it was
I
memorable.
hate
It was undeniably memorable, but it fucking pissed me off.
I
Really
don't-
That's what I mean. As I was
same.
watching it, I was like, people are really gonna love this, right? This one is very odd.
I found
But
it so intriguingly bizarre. I really want
yeah,
to see
same.
more of this.
Yeah,
Like
it
a
felt a
musical
little
power wash simulator slash puzzle game slash kind of RPG.
Like
Sure, why
like you like
not?
that
Let's do
remodel the
this.
house genre that I guess has kind of
House
been,
flipping. Yeah.
yeah, house flipper, yeah. It
house
was
Lovecraftian or something.
yeah.
Yeah, it felt performatively weird. That might be unfair, but that was just how it landed for me. And
I
That's
hate.
fair.
and also,
I'm
it was
those people
like
that.
just
Oh,
from
go
a
ahead.
journalistic perspective of I have to fucking take notes and figure out how to describe this. It was a hard trailer to watch.
There was a lot going on. It was, I mean, I was like, I want to play this because it's Game Pass. Who cares? I don't have to buy it. That's the thing, right? So, I was like, this is something I've got to try day one and
Oh,
and
yeah.
really try to like figure that out. The other one,
For
I go
I
ahead.
hated it because I hate musicals. But
Ugh.
that's a me thing.
Oh, I
That's a
love
me
it.
thing. I hate
Okay, you just
musicals.
hate
I
joy.
think
That's fine.
I hate musicals. I hate joy. It's cringe, and I just like, even like, as much as I love Alan Wake 2, as soon as the musical section happened, I'm like, here you go, South, you play it.
I'm a
How am I
total
like the non-queer person on this podcast who likes musicals the most?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm
And you
a
get to do that, and I
I'm
get
a
to not
total
do
theater
that.
kid and musical kid, so we get to be opposite haters of this game.
That's
Isn't
fair.
that? Yeah, that's all I was trying to say.
The other one I wrote down was Keeper. I'm
Really?
interested in this one. More from their perspective, I feel like they've just let Double Fine whatever the fuck do that what they want, and this looked like gloriously weird.
Double
So I want
Yeah.
to see what that.
Double Fine told Xbox marketing, we have a game that's not going to be easy for you to market. Have fun.
You're a walking lighthouse. Okay, and what do you do?
Yeah.
That's it. You
No,
walk.
you're a bird
Like-
that's piloting a walking lighthouse.
It's
And
not
it's
hard
a-
to market though, because it's just like, it's a
I mean,
Double
the
Fine
trailer-
game. Here to go.
that worked for the people that it was always going to work for. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it worked
yeah.
on me. I'm a mark for this shit, right?
Oh, totally. No, I was
it's
super
being,
into it too.
it's being helmed by Double Fine veteran Lee Petty, who has been one of their technical art guys for the longest time. So he's
I love the
responsible.
passion projects like this though. That's
Yeah.
how we get like stuff like Pentiment. You know what I mean? And like this
Yeah,
kind of is
true.
like that
That's-
same.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I played Pentiment. I did not love it, but I am overjoyed that it exists.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just so happy it exists, because like, this is the thing that makes video games great. The fact that you get to tell stories like this.
Yes.
It's-
100%.
It's what we need more of when we're
So-
all talking about all this like formula and trend stuff.
The
Michael, do you
Oh.
Oh,
I'm
just
trying-
that, like, all I was going to say is that basically the stuff Double Fine and Obsidian, although maybe slightly less since Obsidian also has its, relatively normal Western RPGs as well. Like, I feel like every single one of those that gets out feels to me like a minor miracle. So
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's going to last.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty skeptical of how willing Microsoft will continue to be to support that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I
Um,
think
yeah,
the
I
other
think-
side of it is I don't know that Double Fine exists. You know what I mean? If they were still self-publishing, they took some very big chances and some worked and some didn't. So
the whole thing with Starbreeze and them
Yeah.
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 getting involved in some legal shenanigans with the Swedish government. Yeah, I kind of understand why. Which Tim is this? Not Sweeney, not Cook.
Schaefer.
Schaefer. That's it. That's his surname. You understand why Schaefer made the decisions he did. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Speaking
But
of
we'll-
Obsidian, Grounded 2.
Ooh.
Very excited that this is happening.
Obsidian is pumping them out. I mean, that's
happy for you.
interesting.
Um, yeah, I don't know how into I still am in Obsidian's output anymore, but I do respect that they work at the scale that they do, that they can do games like this, like juggle Grounded and Outer Worlds and Avowed, because they're all like the bigger ones are medium budget and they have like Unreal 5 as a shortcut.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But
I
like I don't have a lot of highlights, so I'd like to be able to say the other one besides Keeper, which is Thunder Lotus's At Fate's End.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fucking incredible, visually stunning, solid narrative hooks and looking action gameplay, just like all around total selling point. Yeah, you mentioned Game Pass. I'm not a Game Pass subscriber anymore. I canceled it because of the boycott. So I'm not. So I don't get to say like, oh, well, I just get all these games automatically. but there are a couple of these games that I will, go to the extra effort of buying and keep her in at Fate's Ender at the top of that list.
Well, I mean, it's not like any of these are exclusives to Xbox, really,
No,
in the same
nothing's
way
fucking
anymore, right? So you can always, if you don't want to get it on Xbox, you can always get it somewhere else.
That's also
That's
true,
going to be
but
difficult.
the money's going to go to them either way. If it's
Yeah.
some money will
Mm.
go to Microsoft either way. So it's none of it's ideal, but it is what
Yeah.
it is.
The money the money we would give to Obsidian goes to Microsoft, and the money that we would go to there goes to Microsoft. So at least
Yeah.
which means I think for someone like myself or Lily, we're kind of dependent on secondhand physical editions, and
Yeah.
Microsoft is, to put it
Not-
charitably, not particularly a fan of providing the option for physical editions.
Mm.
And while it's also true that, nothing is a pure Xbox exclusive anymore, like there are some things that aren't multi-planet. Launch Keeper is currently only Xbox and PC, and I'm not a PC player. So I can't say, oh, I could reduce Microsoft's cut by buying it on PS5. That's not an option here.
Mm.
The with a lot of this with like Obsidian, especially in like stuff like it's very funny that some of this is stuff that I'm like learning about because I just didn't watch the showcase because I was like, I was very tired of all the games. Like I watched because I also watched like a bunch of like indie, like the things like women led and Latin American and stuff, and
Yeah.
so I was just burnt out. And I was like, and I'm not gonna worry about this anyway because again, boycott. But it is interesting compared to like in the broader market to see maybe finally they're having the payoff to what seemed to be their strategy of buy a bunch of studios, have those studios make games, have all those games on Game Pass, win the new age of console wars and stuff. Like now we've hit this point where they actually are putting out a bunch of like single player games or multiplayer games that actually seem enticing. Like Grounded and Grounded 2 are not like they're not live service extraction shooter type things. And then it's like compared to what we've been seeing with Sony with this past year, like we talked about them earlier, of just failure after failure of like an attempt at a live service game. But also like Xbox is basically like Xbox itself as a brand.
Worry about live services because they own fucking Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Well, and then also
Yeah.
though they're just, but then the Xbox itself is like at this point so in the drain. Like it's so it's too late in a way of it's like but like who's like.
And Microsoft is effectively transitioning to being just a publisher, which
Yeah.
maybe that works out for them. But
I think they're playing the long game in a lot of ways. I mean, I think the writing's on the wall.
I mean, to some extent they are, but I think it's so basically like Microsoft. And we're going to get into this presumably if we talk about the handheld. But Microsoft has basically never had a coherent vision for itself and what it wants to be, and I think that's really started when they got into games. I recently learned that the original Xbox, its code name in development was Project Midway, because the idea was that much like Americans at the Battle of Midway, Microsoft would be fighting the Japanese empires of Sony and Nintendo to become the dominant part of to be the dominant console owner.
No.
Which is
Oh my god.
Which is as like presumptuous as it is kind of pathetic. But I do think that this is kind of their hook. They've always viewed themselves as a company that needs to be and should be and perhaps deserves to be the most powerful of the gaming companies. But it doesn't really have any idea for what it wants to be beyond that. So you see a lot of you've seen like weird handhelds and weird peripherals, and eventually the current decision seems to just be to buy everything, be a hegemon.
And like, how meaningful of a conquest is it to sell your games on your competitors' hardware where they get a cut too? Like, thanks for the free money, dude.
That's why I think the strategy is no longer conquest. I think the strategy is, well, we have all these assets. I guess now we can exploit them. I don't think it's where they want it to end up, but they're going to make the best of where they are right now.
Probably the biggest thing that, like you said, Wolfman, how it's like they had no idea of what they were doing. Is like, I think a lot of people can universally agree that the 360 was a very good console, and especially broadened online stores and indie games and stuff, and there's a lot of good there. But then they came out, and like whenever they revealed the Xbox One, they were like, in their reveal of it, they were like, you can also put your game in a smaller screen so you can watch TV. You like, it does all the things, and it's like, okay, like, you're really trying to sell us on this as this like all-in-one media box, but for one thing, everyone has other things to stream TV at this point. Already, like,
we have the TV. The TVs themselves do that.
But and then also, it's really not selling your point to be like, you know what sucks whenever you're playing a game? Whenever you're playing that game, don't you just want to put that game away and not be playing the game and be watching TV instead? And for some of us, it's like
no Wii U for you.
Yeah. I mean,
but also, like,
that was their strategy more than 10 years ago, though. Like, it's not what they're doing right now. I mean, they're facing the consequences of that having been their strategy 12 years ago.
That's what I really mean, though, is like, they did that big swing, and that kind of pivoted them away from just being the gaming console. Like, oh, it's the Xbox. You need to get the Xbox to play your Halos and your all these things and stuff. And it's like, okay, but now you kind of lost your core audience in a way, because you really try. And
it's a weird audience, because Microsoft has basically no foothold in most countries, or at least Xbox consoles don't. Obviously, now that they own fucking everything, they have a very wide software foothold. But like, I think
hardware-wise, they're a thing in essentially Canada, United States, UK, and a couple places in Europe. A lot of that is due to their absolutely kind of horrendous localization. They've not been good at putting things in languages really other than English and some of the more common ones like German and French and Spanish. Beyond that, they've just not invested in the kind of localization support and other kind of geographical support that would really be needed to break into those markets.
I think. Oh, sorry, Lily.
I was talking to my wife. Sorry.
No problem. So the gaming, like the games industry, is kind of an interesting one, because it's a combination of, among other things, like the creative entertainment side. We're producing art, and we're going to commodify and sell you art and entertainment. But then it also has the technical side of, like, these are technological devices. These things are bound to technology in a way that even like media like films aren't. And I think Microsoft might be coming at this and might have always come about this from the technical side, and maybe just because of the fact that that's where they started. But I think it's that, and I think it's also the fact that they have so much money that stakes in the traditional sense, like financial commercial stakes, don't really that doesn't really seem to really affect them in the same way. Like, we know that Microsoft has almost never actually made a profit with its Xbox division, yet it still basically has muscled in on its territory, on the amount of territory it has. And the times where it is making money is tied to also these wild expenditures. It's a business that doesn't really make any sense. And I think the new Xbox Ally partner console, the new handheld that's trying to kind of fit in the same space as the Switch and the Steam Deck, is part of that. It's a device that I don't think it. I think it will sell some copies. I don't think it'll be more than niche, and I don't think it will really have a lot to distinguish it for consumers amongst what are already relatively niche, like handheld systems. But they have to do it because they gotta. It's Microsoft has to have a handheld. It wouldn't be competing otherwise.
I mean, it's of a piece with whatever their current strategy is, which is your games will be available to you where you want them to be available to you. Now, I'm skeptical that they can pull this off in a handheld, especially a lower powered one, because some of the more demanding games might not be able to run natively, at which point you're streaming them, at which point you're kind of defeating the purpose of a handheld. But
Yeah.
I do think it fits into their broader strategy at the moment. Like, I'd be surprised if they didn't eventually go down this road. They've been trying to push the idea of quote unquote play anywhere for a while. Do I think this thing is going to sell like hotcakes? No. Do I think it'll find a niche among like Xbox devotees and some other people who are kind of on the periphery of that ecosystem? Yeah, I think it'll sell decently. The ROG Ally was successful enough that putting an Xbox logo on it and saying, finally, a PC that can run Halo 5 doesn't seem like such a terrible idea. But that's
Yeah,
just
I think that's where it sells, is that it's also plays Steam. It also plays, it's a computer, handheld computer. I think that's the difference. But I don't know. I don't know if I would get one, and I'm pretty much in that ecosystem, but I don't know if I would need that. I just don't know that I don't know a handheld fits me at all. But
Well, here's also a question: is this thing going to be like just on the store shelves? Like, if you really want to go and
Are
That's
any
a
of
good
these
question.
things on store shelves? I'm
walk
sincerely
into
asking. It's not a joke.
I think you can walk into a Best Buy and buy a ROG Ally. You can't walk into a Best Buy and buy a Steam Deck because that's all
Exactly.
through.
Yeah.
If you go into a Target, even beyond like Best Buy, which is a devoted electronic thing, if you go into these all-purpose stores like Walmart or Target and you see, hey, there's a new Xbox, and
No,
it's a
it's probably
handheld.
only going to be a Best Buy.
yeah, I mean,
At least in Canada, I've confirmed you can buy a ROG Ally at Best Buy.
Okay.
yeah, because Microsoft pays for that shelf space, so I don't think that I don't think the stores really care what they put there. And I mean, if they say, hey, we want space for it, I'm betting they'll get it. But I think the thing will be more with what is and isn't supporting it, and if it's everything, and like Merv said, if it all goes to streaming, that's going to be kind of, I think, the make or break.
Yep.
If you end up streaming more than being able to like play natively, I think that's what people are going to be kind of more concerned about.
The thing I'm hearing on the ROG Ally, just based on what you all have said, is if it's on store shelves, this is just the thing that parents are going to use to trick their children who ask for a Switch or a Steam Deck. They're like, look, we got you the thing you asked for, and it's like, this is not remotely shaped like the thing I asked for. But it does the same thing. And I mean, for the first time, the parent is probably gonna be right. It does basically do the same
one question
thing.
about this thesis is, will its price point be equal or lower than those other options?
That's a big question.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
The
thing
real
is gonna break
just
four
as-
figures here in Canada. Like, it's gonna retail for $1,100 easy.
It's
I don't know what that
really
is in freaking bucks.
it's
Even
just
if
the
they-
Pride Month blues, though. Pride Month blues of wanting a Switch and getting an Ally instead.
Oh my god.
We need to be fenestrate you.
1,100 Canadian
Hey!
is 801
You love me.
US dollars.
Oh, there you go.
So,
that seems like what it'll come out. Yeah.
$800, more than the PS5 Pro.
More than the that little thing, more than the PS5 Pro. So,
Good lord.
It also
Good
doesn't
lord.
look that nice.
yeah, it does not even look like it's worth much. Like, it
I'll
looks
be
like
honest,
a
If you
knockoff.
want to shove that level of power into a handheld, that's what you're gonna pay, right?
It's just really funny how there was all the controversy around the Switch 2's price, but then you look at it and it's like, actually it still is the cheap option. I'm gonna let it tell you.
Yeah, like, video games are no longer for the masses. They are
Nope.
a niche boutique product. If you want something for the masses that you can play on your phones, you are back to your got you wife booby games. Like that is what's for the masses now.
Well,
Made by
remember,
Unity.
the Rogue Ally itself retails for $9.99. The one they've already got out. So I mean,
Oh my god.
it's not any more or less expensive. They're just adding the Xbox, store basically into it.
It's 1,100 Canadian here, is what I'm seeing. But if you want a refurb or a box open, you can get it for 650 Canadian. So
Yeah, I think the top of the line one here is like right at 1,000. The current one. Yeah.
Yeah, why? Like, why? All right.
This one says 24 gigabytes RAM, but I think that's shared RAM between like system RAM and VRAM. Because
Yeah.
no way it has 24 gigabytes like system RAM. That
Oh yeah.
you're not going to do that for a handheld.
I did want real quick to aside from the Rogue Ally stuff, because we were talking about Obsidian, and since we're not going to cover the smaller C and D tier shows, I did want to quickly shout out that Neverwinter Nights 2 is finally getting an enhanced edition. And
Yeah, I saw that.
if you want to play Mask of the Betrayer, you have to get Neverwinter Nights 2 enhanced edition. Mask of the Betrayer is one of the greatest RPGs of its era. It is probably the closest thing to a spiritual successor to Planescape Torment that you will get. Regrettably, you do have to play through Neverwinter Nights 2 first. But
Yeah, those
But yeah.
expansions were always so good back then.
yeah, it's
Throwing
almost infuriating that it's like, why aren't you attached to a better game?
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for Neverwinter Nights 2, though, just because I like the party in that game. I like that they all hate and are mean to each other. It's very funny.
I'm into that. Yeah, I never got that far into Neverwinter Nights 1. Like that was in my CRPG era. That was my limit. Was like, oh, Neverwinter Nights is just kind of boring.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
That's
Neverwinter
how we
Nights 2
talked
is much better.
Yeah.
Have we talked about Beast of Reincarnation yet?
No, we have
Video
not.
game?
That was the next thing I wanted to bring up. Because
Yeah.
wow.
I know that this is like a bullshot trailer level, right? This is not how it's going to finally look in the end
Well,
product.
yeah, I
But,
just
like,
I'm just bored of Unreal 5 assets at this point.
that's fair, but like
Fair enough.
the fact that this is coming from Game Freak, and Game Freak is, and the Game Freak's titles, or like past few, at least Pokemon titles, have been plagued by horrendous technical issues. It does feel a little bit weird to see them put out something so high fidelity.
Yeah.
But
It
hey,
does. It's really
it's
hard for
good.
me as a Pokemon fan to just feel like, did you put all of this into that?
Yeah.
Instead of Pokemon,
Yeah,
instead
like-
of the thing that that actually makes you money.
Yeah, because you
It's-
can make Pokemon on the cheap and still make money. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
No, but I mean,
And they might be kind of bored of it as a studio. You know what I mean? They might, at this
I
point, they
wouldn't
might
be surprised. They've been doing
own
it for
so
what,
they
30
can't, like,
years.
they're
So
part owners along with Creatures and Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
So like, hey, if they want to divest and sell their share to Creatures and Nintendo, they can go ahead and do that. If they don't want to make Pokemon games anymore,
Monolith Soft takes up
sell
the
the
Pokemon.
assets, right?
oh my god, Monolith's off doing Pokemon.
oh my god.
Okay, look,
God.
Monolith Soft has to do Digimon because Digimon is the only franchise that can match
Okay,
like,
Merve,
Monolith's
you get it,
40s. Like,
We
you
love you.
imagine
Yeah, you
Angelomon
love.
by Monolith?
Yeah. Angel Woman by Monolith is just Cosmos.
Yeah, but like
Wow, we
now
got
you
the
can do like
Xenogears.
actual Angelomon instead
Wow,
of
two
like
cakes.
Cosmos.
Wow, 2 Angel Womans, 2 Cosmoses.
I don't know.
But we also already had 2 Cosmoses. We have Cosmos and Telos, and then we also have Elma and Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, but whatever.
Thank you for that outburst, Quinley. And
You're
that's not
welcome.
sarcasm. I was delighted.
Okay, I live to serve.
Yeah, my thing with that game is like, okay, the setting's kind of neat, but like, yeah, it's okay, yeah, it's just another Unreal 5 like melee action game.
I haven't been paying that too close to like attention to like Ghosts of Tsushima, Ghosts of Yotei, and like all of those games. So like, if you just came to me and said like, "Yeah, this is the Ghost of Yotei. Hey, gamer, this is the new. This is the assassin. This is from the Assassin's Creed Shadows." I'd be like, "Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, probably. I guess. I don't know. What do I know?"
Say what
Sure.
you will about Game Freak's other side efforts like Pocket Card Jockey, Tambo the Badass Elephant, and Little Town Hero.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
felt personally a little more memorable than this. This looks like any other AAA game.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
I do
this looks
agree.
more
It felt much
entertaining to
more.
me. That's
Yeah.
why I'm more interested in this. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
fair enough.
want to do like those things. I'm glad they got made, and they're unique in their own way. But I don't want to do any of the gameplay loops in those games. Whereas I want to do the stuff that they were showing
Are you
off here.
sure you want to play this game?
Yeah, I am. I mean,
And
maybe
are
it's going to be garbage
Can we-
because Game Freak hasn't been able to like make a technically competent game for like the past 5 years. So it's entirely possible this is going to suck. But if it lives up to its promise, I think this would be entertaining for me. If it lives up to its promise, it's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
My interpretation of it was that it was a Souls-like, and that's what shocked me about your enthusiasm.
I mean, if it's a Souls-like, then it can go in the crapper.
I know.
Yeah,
Along with
it's
Souls.
yeah.
Sure,
How
but-
did you watch this trailer and not catch that though? Is the
It
thing
doesn't
because
look like a Souls-like. They haven't marketed
It
it as
doesn't?
a Souls-like.
it
It did
very
to me.
much looks like a Souls-like to me. Like they even have a parry mechanic in the trailer.
I'm not against parrying. I'm against garbage parrying, like in Sekiro. But we don't have to go
Uh-huh.
down that road.
Well,
Um,
no. I think we do. If you're gonna be going to bat for this game that is very obviously a Souls-like, or is at the very least
I don't think it
derivative
looks like a
of a
Souls-like to me.
Souls-like.
I
Okay,
think,
how
I think
though?
what's happened is Souls-like has kind of infected other action games, and now other action games are borrowing those mechanics. But I don't think it's a game where you're like resurrecting at bonfires.
Oh, no,
Maybe
no.
it is.
Lily,
If it's a game where
Lily
you're resurrecting
Wolfman,
at
help me.
bonfires, I'll
Lily
eat my hat.
Wolfman, help
Okay.
me. Lily Wolfman, help me. Oh my god.
All right, this is gonna be it, guys. This is gonna be it, everyone. This is gonna be the podcast where we figure out what a Souls-like is. It will be defined here.
You gotta
Stay
have
tuned.
a demon as a boss, and he's gotta have a big hammer. Therefore, Elden Ring is not a Souls-like.
Okay.
Elden
I'm
Ring
just
does have a hammer boss, doesn't it?
I'll be
Oh,
honest,
no.
I don't remember. There's a lot of
It's
bosses
got
in
a
that
lot of
game.
bosses.
So
It's
many
got-
bosses.
It's got too many bosses.
It-
Anyway, we'll learn
Anyway,
more
if
about
this game is
game later.
overly difficult and has bonfires, I'm out. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
The-
but
It
those are
does-
selling points. Also, there's totally a bonfire in the trailer.
Yeah, like I think she is the bonfire, like the main character, actually.
Go on.
That's well, I mean, that's the vibe that I got anyway. That like
Oh, so
because
it's
she
like
has because she has all the
Ori
plant
and the
powers
Blind
and
Forest save mechanic, where you
I
create
do love
the
Ori's
bonfire.
save mechanic.
yeah, it's
That's
good.
not a bad point.
Yeah,
I
like,
would
I mean,
also.
Debate's not gonna go far.
So it's on thin ice now. If you create your own bonfires, it's on thin ice. If it's predefined bonfires, especially bonfires that are like make you have to do those boss runbacks, then this game can go to hell.
I miss runbacks.
I miss making shortcuts to make the time go down.
Yeah,
That's the best feeling in any game ever. Like,
it's like this door is now unlocked. Yes.
yeah.
It just feels
It-
good.
It's looped around to the point where, like, whenever I'll find like a door in a game and it's like cannot be opened from this side, I'm like, hell yeah, it can. Let's go.
It's like hell yeah, let's go, let's find the other side of that door.
So that's so
I'm like-
exciting.
I'm like, bro, there's a keyhole on both sides. Just give me
No.
the key.
No,
that would
you
be so
ignore the
awful.
fact that you could
You
probably
don't get
kick it down or cut it down or whatever. No, you will find the other side of that door and you will open a path.
I love how some like
Unless
great
it's
when
Silent
just
Hill.
like a half height fence, and it's like you can't step over this thing, man.
It's like I can't go that way.
Just by the way, you know what's going to get a lot of one-sided doors,
Hmm,
and is definitely coming out in 2025.
hmm.
Silk Song.
Hey.
Why did they do
Oh,
that
yeah.
to Silk Song? By the
Why?
way, like
They
why
do,
did
they
they?
do.
Why did?
Hollow Knight
Why
has
did
a
they?
lot of them.
No. I'm talking about the thing that Jeff did during the.
Oh yeah, that was
Like,
Oh,
me.
that
why?
sucks so bad.
Deadpool
Like,
trailer.
why?
What
But
did Jeff
to
do?
cut to like drunk ass Neil Patrick Harris, like just doing the most bored Deadpool thing. Like, yeah, I'm
Yeah, like,
Deadpool. Oh, look at these guys.
His
Oh,
kids growing up well.
right, I
will
did
say
forget
this
about
Deadpool. Bring back
it
Nolan
looked
North.
awful.
Nolan North did a good Deadpool.
Sure, whatever.
I feel like I'm over Deadpool as a concept. Like it was on.
Yes.
I was bored with it like in the first year where he started getting big on the internet. But then it's like, really, with the Silk Song joke, like.
Yeah, like
Dude.
leave Silk Song out of that. Like, it did
God
not
damn it.
deserve that. Like,
Yeah.
that subreddit has been through so much over the
It
past
was-
year, and
Oh no, the poor Redditors.
the poor Redditors.
Okay, fine. The poor me who keeps
See,
having.
I care about you, Bloomed. I don't care about Reddit. Reddit just pisses and moans and whines about everything.
I was making a joke, like, but I mean, like, just Silk Song fans in general, like,
In
have
this
been
case,
waiting
also,
and waiting for this game.
Or the three of us who like Hollow Knight here.
Yeah, like, I mean, I liked
So
Hollow
it
Knight.
was-
Fine, it was okay.
I was
I
like,
never
there
played Hollow
was
Knight. I have no opinion on it.
Hollow Knight rules.
earlier, like a couple weeks before, there was the 6-1 showcase, and they just made a better joke. Like at the start of it, they were like, "And no, we're just gonna tell you right now, there is not Silk Song in this thing because it's like an indie thing."
Yeah.
They just flat out said it at the start. It's like that was at least
Tiny
fun.
shows allowed to do that. You can't do that at shows where it's actually possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
And-
around
and
for the Duke Nukem thing. That's what this feels like to me. I don't even know if that game's any good.
Duke. Yeah.
Don't even
Dude,
dare
forever?
compare
No,
those.
do not bring
Yeah,
that
like the
up.
Where's
Oh,
Duke Nukem? Where's
No,
Duke
I trust-
Nukem?
okay.
oh my god.
I trust Team Cherry far more than I trust friend of the podcast, Randy Pitchford. That's all I'm gonna say.
For one thing, Team Cherry has successfully made a good game. Hot take. Boom.
Oh.
Okay.
Guys.
I do want to mention a couple of things that I thought were a little bizarre about the showcase. One was I don't really like how they revealed Black Ops 7. It didn't make any
That trailer
sense.
was so ass.
That like
I
Black
later
Ops 6
realized
was well
that-
received. You don't have to do much to sell people on Black Ops 7. Why are you doing this weird Mind Palace shit? That's what I don't understand.
And look at Milo Ventimiglia. I've since learned that apparently a lot of what that trailer was doing was just like emphasizing that this is specifically a sequel to Black Ops 2 narratively. And that just
Mason.
went over a lot lot of people's heads because
Yeah, because Black Ops 2 came out forever ago. No one fucking
Black
remembers
Ops
what
2
happened in that game.
it came out 13 fucking years ago.
Also, the primary audience of Call of Duty is they're not really interested in whether it's a sequel to 2. It's more just how easy is it to go online and shoot people and maybe shout epithets?
Yeah, like they're not
I mean,
interested in the
I don't like that.
campaign.
I
actually-
think there's.
I don't like
I mean,
that.
let's be a little more charitable than that. But like, they care about how it's going to feel mechanically. They care about what kind of feature in the game. They care about what the single player campaign is going to look like. And this ad told us none of that.
It's really,
Yeah,
really long cinematic trailer that's focused on its aesthetics, basically. Like
Yeah.
that's if you want how you
Really
announce it.
bizarre decision to sell Black
It's
Yeah.
not
Ops.
how you Call of Duty.
Honestly though, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had seen that trailer without it being like this is the introduction of it being Call of Duty, like I would have been
already
intrigued by it. Like, because if it did not have anything related to Call of Duty, like if you just showed me that trailer in a vacuum, I'd be like, huh. Like at the very least, I would have been like,
right?
at the very least, I would have been like, huh, what's this?
Yeah, I think that
It has the style.
I think the thing you want to advertise with Call of Duty is the set pieces, right? Show the first
Yeah.
5-6 minutes of a set piece and let that be your trailer rather than trying to do what they got a little too creative with it. But I think that those set piece memorable battles and the missions and stuff, I think that's where you make your money on that.
Yeah, for Call of Duty specifically. Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, it's one of those where you're watching it, and if you're like, familiar with all the context, you're just like, okay, who is this trailer for? Like,
Yeah,
It was
who is this
I
trailer
played-
for?
it was bad for COD fans and COD non-fans.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I mean, I didn't pick up that it was the two until later on the sequel to two until I read up on it later. I actually thought it was kind of given more like Advanced Warfare, like a return to that time frame.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like Infinite Warfare
I
2.
thought maybe
Yeah.
it was a Blade Runner
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
I also want to shout out like the way they ended the show in general of Phil Spencer just being like, hey, next year, Fable and Gears and the Halo remake and Forza and look at this. It felt very desperate. And I just rattling off everything that's happening next year very offhandedly is just very funny to me.
Yeah, because they don't need to do that. They already showed off a
Right.
lot.
Yeah, this was one of your better years, Phil. It had
this
Midnight.
year didn't need the apologetics. Honestly, I felt like they should have went in this one with a little more, confidence overall. If we're just talking just general stage show, because they had a lot of the hits ready to go.
Yeah.
Merv, you mentioned the Persona 4 revival.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be alone on this. I thought
Yeah.
You're not. It's ugly. It's so ugly.
Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, like, people have been clamoring for Atlas to tell us something about what they've been working on for like the past couple of years. And to just show nothing but a teaser of like a flyover of Inaba, the setting of Persona 4, just feels like it's not enough. You might as well not have showed up. Also the particular arts variant of the Atlas House style that they're showing off here, where they're trying to like add back in a little bit of the chibi vibe that the original Persona 4 had, just did not work. They've already done good versions of this art style, like Soul Hackers 2, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Persona 5. They've already shown they can do this art style really well. And this particular variant of it just looks so mind-bogglingly awful.
It looked like a remaster instead of a remake. Like,
it
literally
totally
just looks.
Remaster.
Yeah, it just looks like an asset flip, and that's so frustrating. Like, why?
I haven't played a ton of these, but with the remakes, do they do anything different gameplay-wise, or is this just a graphical thing?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, they do a lot of changes.
Yeah, and hopefully they will make the one of the things that was lauded about the Persona 3 remake is how they changed up the dungeons and stuff. And Persona 4, as it's a flawed game, there's I have a great affection for it. Those dungeons are dog shit. They're so bad. They're just overlong. They're samey. Like, if anything needs an overhaul more than anything in that game, it is. I mean, aside from all the other weird social aspects that could probably age poorly, but like the dungeons definitely need an overhaul.
No way.
Yeah, even if it's a lean year for you, Sega, and you need to announce this to keep people excited, fine, I guess. But do some fucking title cards that say like totally bespoke redone dungeons and queer people, we hear you. Like,
oh my god,
offer anything of actual substance and not look at the environment of the game in Unreal 5. I know.
He's running down the street. Look at him go.
This is to me
like Inaba already looked good.
Yeah.
Like it looks great.
Yeah,
Oh god.
I know I've been harping on the Unreal Engine thing, but like, yeah, when they started, so Persona 3 Reload is in Unreal, and this looks like it's Unreal too, and yeah, I worry for Persona's visual identity transitioning over to Unreal Engine. That's all I have to say.
I do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say was simply that I think this was the exact worst length and substance of a trailer for this, because it's like, it's too substantial to be like oh cool, this is a silly teaser trailer, but it's also not nearly long enough to be like a good video game trailer. It's this weird in between space that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it was very poorly made, unsatisfying trailer. From what we can tell, this remake has not been in development for that long, so they probably really didn't have anything more to show. But then, yeah, again, just don't announce it yet.
Yeah,
Show
or
up,
if you're gonna do
announce
it, do the
Persona 6
teaser,
instead.
or like if you're gonna do that, like just do the teaser from that shot in the opening that everyone knows, where it's just a stack of TVs. Like, just do that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
risk with that though doing the like what was it, the Persona 5, the like chairs on the on the
yeah.
red background.
And-
it's like coming
and then-
2012.
And then we waited 6 years.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to
that list
mention
is- Sure.
about the Xbox showcase?
Yeah, we can't jump
Alright.
on that list forever.
Pardon me?
Nothing.
All
I mean,
right.
you have a filling on here, but
Oh yeah, Aphelion. The
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. That one looks
new
really neat.
Donut game.
Yeah.
don't not game. Yeah.
The only thing that I thought
Mm.
might get a little annoying is the cold mechanics. A lot of those games that do that cold mechanic thing, I think can get a little annoying over time. But I didn't really see how much of that was going like leaning into survival stuff. But
Don't not just
Yeah.
to confirm, they're the Until Dawn and all of
Oh.
those, right?
No, that's
no, they're
Supermassive.
Life is
That's
Strange
super
and
massive. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's super. Okay, no, Supermassive. They had not. That was Chronos: The New Dawn.
yeah.
That
No,
was Supermassive,
that's Bloober
right?
Team.
That's what?
Chronos: The New Dawn is Bloober Team, who's the Silent Hill 2 remake guys. The Until Dawn guys are Directive 8020. There's a lot of
okay.
total 3 sci-fi horror games here.
Oh my god. Okay,
Happens.
Chronos: The New Dawn. Chronos: The New Dawn. I've had my eye on that. Okay, I was gonna mention it, but I wasn't sure which one it was.
That one was
Bloober Team is awesome at getting like atmosphere and stuff, right? But then the actual gameplay is really rough. They did a Blair Witch game that was actually like really underrated, but
Yeah.
I
The
think
Silent Hill 2 remake was solid. It was very, very solid. They actually brought in like combat programmers like to do that, and it went really well. And they just announced that they're going to do a Silent Hill 1 remake, which honestly, yeah, that game probably needs it.
I'd rather play the old versions, but I'll buy the remake at a discount at some point at this rate.
I guess I just mean in terms of like, there's a lot more stuff they can do with Silent Hill 1. Like, they're not so beholden to getting everything exactly right, just because the story and lore of that game is so thin to begin with.
honestly, yeah, go ahead.
Silent Hill 1 is also in a limited capacity. The original version is available on PS5 right now. Silent Hill 3 is not available anywhere. And it's Silent Hill 3 that's the best one. In my book.
I think you're best off
Facts.
with Bloober Team 2 doing like remakes. I honestly that's where they're going to kind of shine overall.
Probably.
Kronos will tell.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Merve.
No, that's fine. I put puns out into the world and then I get punished in return. That's
Punish.
Oh god damn it.
yeah, you guys started it this time. You folks started it. So last thing we wanted to discuss today was a new console was released during all the SGF festivities, and that is the Nintendo Switch 2. So I think a couple of us, or more than a couple of us, now own a Switch 2. I've been messing around with it a little bit. It's basically a bigger, beefier Switch. That's really what I wanted out of it. I didn't want more or different fancy gimmicks. I just wanted a console that plays games docked and also plays games on the go. The only game I've really played on it so far is Mario Kart World. I have, I guess, mixed to positive feelings on it. Initially, I had very negative thoughts on it, but it's grown on me a lot since I've been playing it. It feels to me like they built 80% of a Mario Kart game and polished it really well rather than building a full video game. But yeah, it's really missing like a story campaign. It really feels like it needs that. But other than that, I've been enjoying it quite a lot. I've been enjoying doing the Grand Prix races. The battle mode is surprisingly fun. I haven't heard anybody talk about that.
I've actually played a little bit of battle mode.
Yeah, I really like the battle mode. The maps are good. Coin battle's just a good mode.
Knockout
Like,
Tour is fucking fantastic.
yep.
Knockout Tour is fantastic. My actually thing with battle mode is I do wish that there were a couple other modes, or at least Bomb Blast was back. But
Yeah.
I do suspect that there's just gonna be patches over the next few months or even years that just add that
Yeah.
stuff in. So I'm
Yeah.
not really coin runners is still quite fun.
Yeah.
I think of how, like, I looked at, like, I think people forgot almost how much more bare bones the original release of Mario Kart 8 was.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
it got
Oh,
it
for
got
sure.
four. It's the same. Like, and I played the heck out of it on that first day, but then it's like it got 4 cups and more. It got 4 more cups on the Wii U, but the Wii U version also didn't have. Never got a like proper battle mode. Like, it had battle mode where you just played on the regular maps, and no one liked it. And then they added that for deluxe. They added double items, and they added all those what are they, expansion cups or whatever.
the booster course.
Yeah,
doubled
like
the course.
was that 12 more that they added or something? Like,
They
Yeah,
doubled it.
they're all
Added
like
48 courses.
yeah,
So
yeah.
So many.
And it's like, yeah, it's like got a ton of stuff, but also, like, that's over a lot of years. Like, that's
Yeah.
like it
11
Price jump is
11
what's
years, I believe.
inspiring.
yeah 11
Some of
years.
I think the price jump is what's inspiring some of the backlash to the lack of content. Like, this thing costs $110 or $80 in freedom money.
Who among us didn't buy it in the bundle, though? We all got it.
Oh, I got it in the bundle.
I
So
got the
paid,
bundle too.
The bundle.
I guess
Yeah,
80
the
Canadian.
bundle was literally like 4 out of 5 Switch 2s that have been sold were bundles instead of standalone. Like, so this is a $50 game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, look, I think the $80 thing sucks too. I'm not saying otherwise, but I do think if you didn't pay $80 for it, I don't know how.
Like, this thing's base price is 3 figures up here. Like, it's
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a decent launch game. I wish it had like that actual. I wish free roam were a little less free form. I wish it was more like Diddy Kong Racing. There's like a story and some fun stuff.
I'm with you on the free roam stuff. Like, I like it, but there's no structure or direction. Like, they just kind of drop you in there, and it's literally you just drive around, and there's finding like the little question marks or like getting all the costumes, but like there's no real goal to it. And I think like for the most part it seems to be geared like as a social thing. Like, it is something that you do in multiplayer with a bunch of friends and like run around and take pictures and stuff like that. And I mean, if that's the case, that's fine. But I do think it's weird that you also like, even just being able to see other players in free roam would be more interesting. But like, it needs something. It needs like a quest line. It needs like, the Diddy Kong racing structure. It needs something.
It needs more than just like catering to gooners who want Oasis Daisy, right?
Hey,
now.
I'm one of them. That's saying.
We all love Daisy. We're all Daisy enjoyers here.
Yeah. Is there anything else in common?
Wolfman, do you mind if I go first?
Please. Sorry.
I'll agree. They kind of really missold how multiplayer in free roam works from the trailer, and that was a big disappointment for me.
In what way?
It's only the lobby. The only time that you can actually have multiple players in free roam on the screen at the same time is in the multiplayer lobby.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah,
sucks. That's not what that looks like.
So bizarre.
That super duper sucks. That disappointed me, but and I hope this doesn't make me sound like an apologist. This is completely genuinely my personal opinion. I prefer free roam the way it is. I've just never been a car game girl, and the appeal of this to me is not having anything to do but look around and drive around and look at the environment. Like, I don't even do the piece, which is
to look
at the world. I would
is
not
very
want more content to it.
yeah. I think
Actually,
that
Yeah,
the
that would sound like a chore to me.
yeah, if there was to add like some kind of story content, I'd rather it just involve like collections of routes or the invention of additional routes. Um,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I feel like there's something nice about the fact that there is stuff to do, but you're not really under any real push to
Pressure.
actually do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's in that way it feels closer to like Nintendo's other more modern sandbox games like Breath of the Wild, where
Yeah.
things are less like check marks.
Yeah, the
I do
free
think
form.
one thing the free roam could have benefited from, especially for people, like me who haven't played Mario Kart in, years and basically forgot how to play it. I feel like that would have been a good place to put a tutorial.
Yeah,
That's
I do.
actually
this-
as someone
this
that
game
also
does not
very little
actually-
Mario Kart.
Yeah, this
Sorry.
game does not actually tell you how to play it. There's
No, it's
there's an in-game quote unquote manual, but it's incomplete.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
no point does this game tell you to press A to accelerate.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
true.
which
That's
is
really
wild.
It,
Which is
it really said,
Totally.
you all bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right?
Yeah,
We didn't need to teach you how to play it.
imagine this is like some 5-year-old kid's first video game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
No, yeah, it has a lot of little flaws that add up, and that's unfortunate because the big picture of it is incredibly cool.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
It's the visuals are consistently incredible, particularly the lighting and the clouds. There are so many moments since I've been playing the game where I'll just turn a corner and I'll see like a massive sunrise or sunset, and it feels like I know this is new because I've been on that route before when it's only dusk or only dawn.
Yeah.
There are, I think, a lot of I think the courses are really good. I think there are a couple that I'm less keen on than others, but I still think are good. Like I wasn't as into Koopa Troopa Beach or Wario Stadium, but like a lot of them are amazing, especially the new ones. DK Spaceport,
DK
Dry
Space
Bones,
is so good.
Yeah.
Spaceport fucking rules. Except for
Cheap
last
Falls.
night when I fell off right at the end because I hit a bounce at a weird angle and then got red shelled, which sent me careening off. I was in first place and it sent me careening off the track right at the end, and then I ended up in like 5th or 6th place. So fuck
Yeah.
GK Spaceport.
That's Mario Kart, baby.
That is. Other ones I really like are Cheap Falls, which is this like autumnal Japanese style like series of waterfalls and upward steps. Boo Cinema, which is a haunted film studio where you fly into the movie. Dry Bones Burnout, which is a Spanish guitar backed like lava twisting inside skeleton, and the new Rainbow Road, which is
Oh my god.
unbelievably bonkers.
It's
I
I
haven't
love the
done
lead
that
up
one
to
yet.
the Rainbow Road. That it feels like it's momentous.
Yeah, it's an event. I want to. Wolf and I are probably the only people that bought it, but I want to shout out the other first party launch exclusive.
Oh, are we doing a welcome tour mini review right now?
Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, a game I like.
Oh.
As
Uh.
someone who bought every like Nintendo like tech demo game of this ilk, Wii Sports Resort, Nintendo Lands, this is the best one, actually.
Wow.
This is a really good game.
Hmm.
And its only
It's-
flaw is how focused on the mouse controls it is.
Oh god. Oh.
Oh.
Mouse controls. No, thank you.
This thing is
The-
fucking $15.
$10.
I guess it's
well,
$10 in
probably
the
15
US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's $15,
It's definitely
which is way out of line with the exchange rate. That thing should be around $13.
That's true.
And
It definitely should have been packed in. Like,
Uh,
let me be clear. It definitely should have been packed in. It should have been
Yeah.
pre-installed in this playroom.
yeah,
will
I'm
agree with-
seeing 1650 on the. Oh wait, no, this is New Zealand. What the hell? Why did it bring up the New Zealand website?
I will.
Is this
I
something
will
you're not
also.
telling us?
Okay, it's $9.99. It's $9.99
Okay.
American.
Yeah, it's 10 in the US. Yeah.
Yeah.
This should have been a pre-installed pack in like Astro's Playroom, 100%. That being
Yeah.
said, it's a more substantial game than you think it is. This game has, counting all of the mini games and the tech demos, like this game has a lot. Like is the largest like non-Mario Party mini game collection Nintendo's ever done. It has what's basically like a 12 level, like not an open world because it's you unlock them one at a time, but it's a huge like sandbox to explore. Basically it's way more substantial than you thought it was off of the direct.
Yes,
It
they did not do. They
did not
really did
sound-
not do it justice in the marketing.
Yeah. and
It's
yeah, the mouse controls are overrepresented in the mini game collection for sure, but it is nonetheless a really neat thing. The whole idea of like, yeah, this is one of those like you're inside the human body.
Oh, that's cute.
yeah.
For the
You
entire console is, yeah, it's really well done. It's really fun.
I have to
There's-
wonder if part of the reason they did not market it as effectively was because they knew people were going to be put off by the price point, and they just didn't want to deal with the backlash of that.
Yeah.
probably
But then
Yeah.
it's almost like, hey, pay $10 for this big minigame collection. Like pitch
Right.
it as that of like, hey,
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
This is
Calling
the
How about the
$60
welcome tour and charging for it?
yeah,
is-
that's the
is
biggest thing
wild.
is calling it welcome
Yeah.
tour. It's
on
like,
the
yeah,
welcome tour. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah,
Hi,
because that
welcome-
gives
wel-
that gives the impression that it's
Welcome to
free.
my
It's like,
house.
oh, yeah,
welcome to my house. Give me
that'll be
money.
$10.
Yeah, pitching it as the manual, as the like this will tell you everything you need to know about the console, and then charging for it is, yeah, it's just it just harshes the vibes.
Yeah.
But $10 versus the 60 that Nintendo Land costs, as someone that bought it, is all I'm saying is, yeah.
Wait, what was it? Oh, was Nintendo Land
Well,
just a pack in with the
Nintendo Land was packed in for $50 more, which, fun fact, was also true of the original Wii Sports. Wii Sports, they added $50 into the price to account for Wii Sports, and in Japan, where they didn't sell it with Wii Sports, it cost the equivalent of $50 less. So even Wii Sports, they charge for the whole time.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying Nintendo's always kind of sucked.
the
in the ways that they specifically do. I'm obviously a fan,
Yeah.
but
it's also just like kind of fascinating because you see them get really granular and specific about like the individual details. Like they have history lessons about computer mice and explaining how their design needed to change aspects of how computer mice work.
yeah, and they contextualize everything in their own like technical history. Like we first did Rumble with the N64 with what we called the Rumble Pack, and this other thing we first did on the Game Boy. Like the gaming
favorite
history
pioneers.
museum thing of it is so fun and cool, and it's so granular on the technical detail. It gets so specific on technical information in a way you would never have guessed Nintendo would ever willingly do.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
Nintendo
a
telling you about the specifics of the NVIDIA microchip. Like,
Oh,
They
the
see-
NVIDIA microchip.
as a journalist, and they just put it out there in a game.
Not to like ascribe, not to like personify a company, but
Yeah.
they seem prouder of the hardware this time around.
Oh,
than-
I think I have a theory about this.
Sure.
I think they're always very proud of their hardware. They're a very prideful company. They have a lot of respect for their own work, and it's something that often, to be honest, is feeling very refreshing now in an era where
once
where like we're seeing where the instability of the industry is so much clearer and more constant than ever. But I think in this case, it's as much of a marketing plan as it is an element of like confidence and pride. They understand that this is a jump, and they also understand, because they play games as much as the rest of us, that the jumps in fidelity and the jumps in power have felt less substantial again and again. That the jump from PS4 to PS5 was not nothing, but it really didn't feel as big. The jump I think also they know that they've cultivated a fan base, some of whom only play Nintendo systems, and some of whom are families who either only play Nintendo systems or aren't as secure in the knowledge about like what these jumps actually entail in a material level. So this is kind of a way of showing like, no, the jump from Switch 1 to Switch 2 is really big. And we want you to understand that this isn't just iterative. This is actively really additive. And so it's as much of, I think it's partially marketing because they want that to be really clear. So we're seeing like them talk about the numbers and talk about frames per second, and they talk about screen size, both of which are referenced extensively in Welcome Tour. There are mini games about where you have to study frame rates and mini games about pixel screen size.
That is very interesting.
I wonder
Yeah.
how they work if you don't have a 4K TV.
I think some of them it says like, I'm actually not sure.
So here's a fun fact. The game gives you at the beginning a cheat code for, because there's linear progression. Here's a cheat code for skipping over anything you don't want to do.
That's pretty
and
funny.
some of those things that you can't do will be things that you'd have to pay more money for like buying the camera peripheral or whatever. So
Oh yeah.
so there, yeah,
Or
it's
buying a whole
kind of
new TV.
it's not the most satisfying way to get around those limitations, but they did definitely account for that.
Okay.
And yeah, I like, again, there are so many mouse controls mini games, but my favorite ones were things like guess the frame rate and what does an 8-bit game in 4K look like?
right.
Yeah, Mario in 4K is, I think, the most I've ever laughed at, or the most I've laughed at a game this year. There is no way that it doesn't end up the funniest thing I've seen, and that's not like in a pejorative sense. It's really funny because, how it works is that the assumption is that you'll just see Super Mario Brothers superimposed on a 4K screen. No, what you see is a 4K, fully 4K image, and then right on the top left is the 256 by 240 NES image, and it just stretches as you go forward until
Oh
you
my
see
God.
that by the end you discover that World 1-1 of Super Mario Brothers is actually almost 3,000 pixels long. It's just you didn't see it before that.
Huh.
It's
Okay.
extremely
I'm gonna have to
goofy.
pick this up then.
Yeah,
Um,
it's yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
In the last like 5 minutes or so, I did want to bring up the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct that aired
Yes.
a few days
Yes.
ago at this recording.
God, that game looks good.
And
It looks
we
so
only
good.
have like 5 minutes, so we're gonna go through this quickly.
Yeah.
It confirmed what was accidentally leaked earlier. Odd Rock is teenage Pauline. Which means that Nintendo is very sneaky, and it seems like they made a build of the game for their press event where at a point in the story where Odd Rock should have been Pauline, it was still Odd Rock.
They
So
also put up a
sneaky.
pulp cover art in stores and then just replaced it after the direct.
Okay, so they pulled in New Avengers. Good for
They
them.
pulled a Thunderbolts, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we just spoiled Thunderbolts for everyone. Whatever. Who cares?
Whatever.
No one watches Marvel films anymore anyway. So this is really neat. It looks like they're iterating on what they did with Super Mario Odyssey and Bowser's Fury, but they're adding in some like RPG-like mechanics, some transformations, some abilities, bringing back some of the classical elements from sort of classic elements from earlier Donkey Kong games. You got minecart levels. Dixie Kong and Diddy Kong seem to be in there. So yeah, seems like it's a Donkey Kong game that respects the series' history while adding in a whole whackload of new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really, really promising.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. There's a very decent chance this ends up being my favorite game of the year. And
Likewise.
the for one thing for me, I have kind of two things. One is this is a very musical game so far. Pauline saying show tunes and a rock song in Super Mario Odyssey, but as a child she's singing like very romantic Disney songs, and the whole thing has this like strange like Disney cinematic energy. Um and there's also she sings, and that's used for puzzles. There's all kinds of music. Incidentally, Mario Kart has an insane amount of music. Like
Oh yeah.
300
It's like,
songs.
that soundtrack
Yeah.
is cooking.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god, it goes so hard. I'm like, I remember at one point I'm like, is that Zydeco?
Yeah.
Like it's really
The-
varied.
Yeah, the other thing for me for Donkey Kong is like I'm probably the biggest Nintendo fan on this podcast. I'm probably the biggest Nintendo fan who's ever been on the podcast. That's not like a brag. It's just kind of a statement of assumption. Like Donkey Kong's always been kind of weird for me because I always view him as like kind of the heel, kind of the powerhouse, the heavyweight, the guy who's slow in Mario Kart, the guy who has all those like crazy strong attacks in Super Smash Brothers. And sometimes when I play Donkey Kong Country, it feels kind of like that feels lesser. Like it's in cutscenes or it's in him throwing the barrel, but like it doesn't really have what I guess mentally always associated with Donkey Kong. And this game does not have that. This game puts his strength on wild display because this is essentially Red Faction, and you can just destroy the entire level, the entire sandbox.
Yeah, I've seen it called Red Faction Gorilla. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
or
good pun.
or Donkey Kong Ultimate Destruction.
Oh yeah.
Speaking to that point, something that I learned about the Super Mario Brothers movie recently that I'm still as hyped as everybody is about it. Like I'm still going to play this game, but something about it that kind of bothered me. The DK rap from the Donkey Kong 64 game is in the Super Mario Brothers movie, and
Yeah.
Nintendo did not credit Grant Hope for it.
Yep.
And they, in that context, the one thing about this game that bothers me is that Rare did a lot of heavy lifting to raise Donkey Kong's profile during the time where Nintendo kind of didn't really know what to do with him. And this game seems to be going pretty far out of its way to eliminate any association with Rare's iteration of Donkey Kong. Like they're going like just even down to the music. Like I want to go ahead and get this out of the way just as the sole black person on the podcast. Having a bunch of like ape characters do a rap song for an intro to a game is nah.
Yeah.
But
It was
Oh,
I
bad.
was kind of surprised to hear it come back because
British white people.
yeah, I just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Also, something like in the context of knowing that they did not credit them for its use because they're like, no, we own it, even though they didn't do any of the work to produce it, and to see that and other aspects of those games that they handled be effectively scrubbed away from the IP is it's glaring and it's a bit unsettling. Like their version of Donkey Kong was by no means perfect, but it also wasn't nothing. And none of that is here. And that part, something about that really bothers me. Like there's, I don't know, it's a little bittersweet, I guess I should say. Because this looks like it's going to be an incredible game, but I can't stop thinking about that aspect of it.
It feels kind of like pulling out what they want to tap into for nostalgia versus not, where it's like, hey, we can pull out the rap because you know the rap. We can pull out the oh banana because you know the oh banana.
Yeah.
But like we're gonna pull those things out, but then like we're not going to. But also beyond that, this looks more like a sequel / prequel to Odyssey. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
This could have
It's-
been. This could have just been about anyone. Like they could have made a new character. But
I don't
Donkey Kong-
know. I'm not really convinced at that. I think that the focus on like attacking and destruction is very much something that would not have been in a Mario game. I think it's
Yeah.
something that if maybe they started with the destruction and then felt that it suited Donkey Kong best, that is kind of how Nintendo makes a lot of its
Yeah,
games.
they should. Yeah.
That it no, I think the it's very different. It's also not that different too. It's very similar to Donkey Kong Jungle Beat in a lot of ways, which was made by the people who would later go on to do Mario Galaxy and 3D World and Odyssey, and
Yeah.
almost certainly this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I do think that, when you consider the fact that a lot okay, Diddy and Cranky and Dixie are all here, but are they going to say these characters were created by, the Maisels brothers or whatever the fuck their names are? Those are documentarians. Sorry. Yeah, the Mail brothers. Probably not. And yeah, does that suck objectively? Yeah. It does. Nintendo does have a problem with how it handles crediting. This is a very much a thing. All of their recent re-releases have the same problem.
Yeah, and
we'll just say that this game was originally made by a different team.
Yeah, and especially with Nintendo, who acquires these developers to do because they made one cool game, and then once they find their groove on one game, that's the only game they get to make, and then to turn around and say, and then not credit them for that is, I don't know, it's icky.
No, there's a legitimate issue there for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll see whether once the game comes out, because I suspect they haven't shown everything off, whether some of those additional elements like the Kremlings and stuff like that from the previous Donkey Kong games are making a comeback, or whether this really is kind of that clean break where they're ignoring the Rare era. We'll have to see once the game comes out.
There's a ton of Rare stuff in here. It's just reinvented and redesigned.
Yeah.
The there's minecarts, and there's I think also a rocket barrel, which is from Retro's games.
Yeah.
Rambi and now Diddy and Dixie, at least you race they're in a mini game where you and them are race on Rambis.
Yeah, I don't think rebooting Donkey Kong is bad on its own. Doing your own take on it's fine, but I do take the issue of crediting original developers very seriously. I am with you there.
Yeah, and there seem to be a lot of ideas in here that they're kind of pulling from elsewhere, but not.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the credits yet, but given their history, I don't think Nintendo will be crediting who deserves to be credited.
Yeah.
All right, that was a pretty lengthy discussion of SGF and all the surrounding events. If you'd like to keep up to date with the podcast, you can follow us on our website at avocadogamescast.wordpress.com. On that website, we post each episode along with a link dump that fact checks some of what we say. You can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or Spotify. All you have to do is search for Avocado Gamescast. We'll be right there. And finally, make sure you check out the community that spawned this podcast, The Avocado, at the-avocado.org. Don't actually type out the word hyphen. That would be unhinged. All right. Thank you so much. Quinley Thorne, Lily Bones, Wolfman Jew, Kappa, and first time, you've been hard on the podcast before on your top 3 list, but thank you to Bloomed Wings for showing up, for having a roundtable discussion with all of us. Yep. That's as good an acknowledgement as any. Yep, hello. Okay. Let's go with that. All right. Have a nice day, everyone. We will see you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for this.